Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live. I'm Tracy Shuchart, senior economist, and here are the headlines while we were away. First, we talked about this a little bit this morning. Oil is rallying as the U.S. airport base report fans fears of Iranian escalation. The U.S. had told some staff to exit the Air Force Base in Qatar by Wednesday evening because the facility was targeted by Iran in retaliatory airstrikes last year. They also have just issued a warning for U.S. citizens in Saudi Arabia from the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia. We also have, according to flight tracking data, 4 U.S. refuelers have just left the U.S. Air Force Base in Qatar. Polymarket is pricing in an 80% chance that the U.S. launches strikes in Iran before the end of this month. And we also have reports from Israel out saying that the U.S. could strike within the next 24 hours. So definitely something to keep an eye on, particularly if you are trading the energy markets. Next, we have war of the credit cards. We talked about how President Trump wants to cap credit cards. So we did have Built Rewards is unveiling 3 new credit cards with interest rates capped at 10% for 1 year on new purchases. This comes after, obviously, Donald Trump threatened lenders that failed to cap interest rates, with the Built CEO saying there is clearly a need for affordability at this point in time more than ever. And then on the heels of that, Citibank said that it wants to help with President Trump's affordability push, but it doesn't support its proposed cap on credit card fees, saying a cap likely would result in a significant slowdown in the economy. They said this on the earnings call this morning on fourth quarter results. He added that affordability is an important issue, that Citi wants to collaborate with the administration, but an interest rate cap is not something we would or could support, quite frankly. So we'll see how that pans out with the banks and see who follows that and who doesn't follow that. Again, we talked about how it's a new year and possibly we might see some inflows. In fact, Deli was saying the other day, I'm surprised Bitcoin isn't up more. Well, we just got flows from the ETFs from yesterday. So we had BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, IBIT, saw over 150 million positive flows on Tuesday. Obviously, the fund has grappled with persistent outflows since the market crash in early October, with nearly 20 billion crypto assets wiped out within 1 day. About 821 million in crypto assets has been liquefied over the last 24 hours, with 718 million and 104 million in short and long positions, respectively, according to data compiled by CoinGlass. So interesting. We'll see. We're finally seeing some inflows into IBIT, which is interesting. Moving on, we have Beijing now is telling Chinese firm to stop using software from CrowdStrike, Mandiant, Wiz, SentinelOne, Recorded Future, McAfee, Clarity, and Rapid7 U.S.-based software because of dangers to the Chinese. We might be spying on them. So interesting. This is also something to keep an eye on because they did say that they wanted to, or the government, I should say, rather said that they were urging companies not to import any NVIDIA H200 chips unless it was absolutely necessary. But when the government kind of urges you in China, you pay attention to that. Next, we have Denmark has agreed with the U.S. to form a working group on Greenland. As you know, Donald Trump wants to purchase or take Greenland. Greenland is not really wanting to do that. Obviously, Denmark doesn't either. So I guess apparently after the escalation this morning, they have agreed to form a working group. So we'll see how that pans out. Moving on to oil, one more thing on oil. We have U.S. secures the initial Venezuelan oil deal. If you remember, We took 50 million barrels of crude from Venezuela after we captured Maduro. And so I guess the U.S. has secured its first $50 million portion of the broader $2 billion oil deal. For an agreement that somebody we don't know who it is agreed to purchase $50 million worth of oil from that initial 50 million barrels of crude oil, again, that we took. And last but not least, we had the House Administration Committee on Wednesday advance a Republican-backed congressional stock trading bill despite Democratic elections that the legislation falls short. The bill introduced by Chair Brian Steele on Monday would allow members of Congress and their spouses and dependent children to hold on to stocks they already own, but prevent them from buying new ones. So keep an eye on that as well. And with that, I will hand it off to Jim for an Edge report.
Thank you, Shai. Well, let's start with the Bitcoin right now. This is a daily chart. It's kind of taking a big picture look here. And so we started kind of this pattern with a swing. Capital A was my swing high, lowercase a swing low. B high, B low, C high, C low, and then D high. But we never got a D low. We didn't get another lower leg down. Instead, the small KC was where the bottom of this market ended, 87.45. Instead, we hit a long consolidation period, sideways, mind you, and moving average is starting to cross over. The 8 crossed over the 21 right there. It looks like they're gaining separation. Now it looks like they're catching up with the 50 EMA. And then we had a breakout over this December high, 94.959. Remember, that June swing low point was 100. So that's 100,000. So that's the next kind of target up. I'm sorry, 100,000. Right here where my crosshairs is. This is kind of the next target up. We also saw some resistance there before we got to C. Intraday, really nice chart to look at. And again, my favorite trade of all time is here. We had a really nice initial balance kind of rally. We kind of messed around, made new highs at Jack's 4, 98,000, and then retraced. We got that retracement. You get a retracement oftentimes, especially when there's kind of a slow part of the news day. And we broke back down through that one-day max and that call resistance. We got right to VWAP. We touched VWAP, which also corresponded exactly just about with the middle or the midpoint of the opening range. So you had two areas of interest right there. And the third thing, look at the volume deficit that's right below there. There's not a lot of volume in this area right below that VWAP at this point in time. So this was a good kind of trigger in my mind. When sometimes these trades don't work, but when they do, you could have a relatively tight stop below that VWAP and try to make a run at it. In this case, it worked out pretty good. Past performance not indicative of future results. I thought I'd say that. But right now, we're still holding pretty close to the point of control right now. It's officially 97.340. So we'll see what the rest of the day brings for us. I want to kind of talk about silver. Everyone's talking about it. Look at that. That's a weekly chart. Is that crazy or what? I mean, everyone has a different extension at this point. That's the only thing you could do is add an extension to try to figure out where we're going. My 200 is at 97.395. But we have some experts in the house that gave me some numbers earlier. We're going to go to a daily. So 91.13, 91.13, that's Salma. We're going to hear from her in a minute. We have Shai's number, 96.60, give or take a couple ticks. And then we have Jack's number up here, 100.53. So I'm going to keep these on here, guys. We're going to see how we do. I'll talk to you guys in a couple minutes about it. But, I mean, this is super strong. That's all you could say about it. Intraday, we broke through everything. There's no targets left on the upside. Yeah, you could say R3 is a target. I'm not going to probably get there today. The big question is, are we going to get any kind of retracement whatsoever? Let's take a peek at copper. Copper's another one, up 1.1% so far, 57,000 contracts traded in the big contract, 37,000 traded in the micros. And this is a beautiful chart. I mean, we look at that white line. That white line is my session VWAP. It's some super important to me. And the idea is, if you're trading above that VWAP, then buyers are in charge. Trading below, sellers are in charge. But I also like to look for that retracement, that pull back up. Now, what happened here, we hit the pivot. This was approximately around lunchtime, around noon, 6.0145, and we rallied. Now, the VWAP was touched, but we kept going. We closed above it. This is a 10-minute chart. And then we continued to go, and that's the confirmation candle right there. So this was a fail touch. The opposite happened. We drove right through here. So be careful. Make sure you have tight stops if you're waiting to do that touch trade. Otherwise, wait for that confirmation candle and then go with the flow. In any event, we're below that 0 DTE call resistance level right now. Probably things are going to slow down a little bit. And the point of control is pretty far away from where we're at right now. So I don't know. I think the upward momentum might kind of be over right now on this, but I could be wrong. We also have previous sessions highs in the way. That green line there, 6.09 is in the way. That is this afternoon's Ed Report. We are ready to trade the close, and we have not one, not two, but three traders with us today. We have Selma, Jack, and Joey. How is everybody doing?
What's up, Jim?
Hi.
I'm
How we
doing
doing?
well.
Everyone
I'm
feeling good?
I'm long the
Everyone?
metals with you. I see my face is a little uncenter. I'm trying to get it in the center of the screen. But yeah, I'm long the metals right now. I think that's been the easy play, the one way train to the upside, whether it's copper, silver, or gold. If you want to take a short, avoid it and just wait for longs. That's kind of been my theory. So I wanted to review my entries and my theories on basically copper and gold to kick us off, if you don't mind. And I'll talk
Yeah, no,
about
all right.
that.
I'm gonna dip out in a second though. I want to wish you guys the best of luck in any trades that you make. One personal note, Jim Cagnina, personal note. I'm gonna put Selma's ex in the chat. She is raising money for a special charity, something she's been doing for a long period of time. So we're gonna pop that in there, and you guys could light that up. You don't have to donate a lot, but if you can, that'd be awesome. So having said all that, you guys, one last service announcement. 4 o'clock. Don't forget Jared Tendler, retail therapy. He's going an hour with two retail traders that he's worked with, and so can't wait for Jared. It's going to be a special event at 4 o'clock. So don't dip after we're done. Having said that, you guys, best of luck. I will be in the chat.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot,
Jim.
Jim.
Take care, Jim. All right, I'm gonna blow up just copper here across my screen. So one of the things I'm always paying attention to in a trending market is something I refer to as just the midpoint of the prior day, which is just the 50% retracement of the entire session, including the overnights of the prior day. So I'm not measuring any of today's action. And for copper, that level was $6.02, and that's basically where I'm long from. We saw buyers early in the morning at that level. And as we came in a second test, we have what I look for is like a 5-bar down sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We lose momentum. You can see we start trading sideways right at that midpoint for the day at $6.02. Decided to pick up a long, was really able to put my stop below the low, limited risk. And I don't know how high we're going. I continue to trail. Maybe we get a push and a close. Maybe I get this stop taken out. I am unsure which will happen. That's trading. But same theory here in gold. The midpoint in gold was 46.10s. Now I'm long a little bit above that. But once again, that midpoint area came into support early in the morning. We staged a rally and then we faded back down into it, in the middle of lunch. And as soon as we started moving back higher, I've gotten long and I've just been creeping and moving my stop up. And as we get a new high, you'll see my stop move up with that, and just holding this position for whatever it will give me. How far it will go, I do not know. One of the things that helps me stay in a trade is once again, a 5-bar move. Once that position goes my way, I literally just set a timer. I keep it on my desk. I talk about this often when I'm on for 25 minutes, and I just let it go 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bar, 5 bar. Let the time play out. Don't make too many decisions based on price. And you could see, 5 bars into that rally, we were pretty strong, which gave me the confidence that I have to just stay long in this trade. So those are my core trades that have been in for quite some time here. And then just long this MNQ as well. So this MNQ is the full 50% retracement at this level. Let me pull up the dates here. It's where are we? 25,428 is the halfway back from Just loading something real quick. Halfway back from 2 weeks ago, the low of the date is the 17th. So if you look at December 17th to actually what was the high of December 26th, that 50% retracement is at 25,428 level. And we came a few ticks away from it, bounced, and I'm hoping we can get a squeeze and a close. We really haven't done much since the open. One more swing high, and I'll be moving this stop up as well. But I do still have some risk on in that trade. So that's what I got on right now, and I'll be holding these positions until stops or targets get hit. How about you, Joey? I know you were just in a NASDAQ. You're out of it now.
Yep, I took a long here. I can share my screen and show you here. Let me get my screen shared. I took a long at 500 on the NASDAQ. We did make a new low down at 420s on the NAS and caught some buyers there. So waited for a little bit of a pullback to catch on the NAS there and took a long at 500. I really wanted to see a squeeze back above IB low here. The IB levels are my bread and butter. I like to trade failures on those levels. And so far, we came up and we've tested IB low a couple times and rejected it so far. So I went ahead and just took profits on my position, squeezed about 23 points on that position and that long there for NQ. And so I'm just going to wait now and see if we do catch some buyers above IB low, see if we show more sign of a failed auction on the IB low there, and may look to take another long if we get that. Otherwise, just going to sit and be patient and wait.
Yeah. Not too much volatility. Salma, are you in a position right now?
I am, yeah. Let me share my screen real quick. Joey, I think you have to unshare.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me.
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah.
Gets more complicated with 3 hosts, right?
I actually think the more the better. Okay, cool. My screen should be up there. I took a short here, small position, took it off of, I'm hoping, the 30-minute OR low will reject on ES. And then what I would like to see pan out is this pink line here is the 9 EMA. If we get that rejection of the OR low, we should start, seeing that 9 EMA help us curl back down. And then I would have partials taken at the 0.236 fib level and then full TP at my other fib level. But honestly, I don't know if I'm expecting this, I don't know if I'm expecting such a big move, with all of that chop earlier today. I didn't really get to trade much.
Yeah, there seems to be a ton of just vol contraction here since really about 2 o'clock. We're going nowhere on the 5-minute chart. This morning, there was some decent two-sided action. Overall, the move was definitely to the downside here, but after lunch, per usual, lower volatility and, probably start picking out in the last 30 minutes. So I don't really have anything new to do outside of if we do pop higher, I'd maybe be interested in shorts above us, but got to get out of my long before I flip short personally.
Yeah, it's just been completely sideways since, pretty much almost around noon. I would like to see us get above IB. I think that would present a pretty good setup for me, but right now it's just kind of doing absolutely nothing, going sideways, but we still got some time left.
Is my P&L higher than usual? I've had some really high R trades, so I'm up 30 points on gold. I've just between gold and copper, I've really had big moves out of them. I mean,
30 points on gold's a banger trade.
Dude, you're killing it.
Yeah, that's a massive trade.
Yeah, that's awesome to see.
And I prefer those there's markets that are really fast. The hard part about faster markets is you have to use bigger stops. So if I can, that's why I've been gravitating towards the metals. And even though they have higher volatility, once they start going your way, it's really a one-way trade. Like if you look at the indexes today, it's all two-way trades. So there's not great risk to reward scenarios or setups. You're 1-to-1, 1-to-2 maybe. I use stops based on the average true range of the 5-minute chart and multiplied by 50%. So I always keep in mind, if I can get in like a lower volatility situation, like coming out of lunch where we're really tight, like I was able basically where I positioned myself in gold. Gold had lower volatility during lunch than it will at the open as far as the average 5-minute bar. That allows me to decrease the size of my stop, which when the market goes my way, the higher my R becomes. I don't know how far I'm always going to ideally hold the trade. I don't always have like an absolute planned target, but I just pay attention to the price action in 25-minute increments, which has allowed me to really stay long this position more than just 30 minutes or an hour. It's just I've been milking this thing since, I don't know, 12:30 or so. But
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, like you said earlier, there's no real reason to sell, right? So might as well just hold. But those are some great numbers.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
great profit.
Ride that thing.
Yeah, I am gonna be moving my stops up here though, just below these most recent lows. At some point, this trend will break, and if it's here, it's here.
I haven't traded the metals that much. I've taken some gold trades during Asia session. That's kind of like my comfort zone as far as trading gold. But outside of that, I haven't really traded metals that much. I won't touch silver. It's a little bit out of my element.
Yeah. Well, there's a micro contract in silver, and I recommend anybody that's like, if you're going to trade new markets, like just buy the lowest risk, get a 1 micro lot on there just to kind of see how it moves. I just started trading the micros in silver. I mean, the big contract, forget it. It's absolutely massive. It's
That's
like
insane.
$5,000 every dollar. And what are we up? $6 today? We're up 30. I don't even know how much we're up.
Dude, one micro in silver will have you like sweating. And I've been saying that every single day on stream, but it's true.
It's
It
a
is
tenth of the
scary.
big, right? It's a tenth of the big.
A tenth, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have another one that's like a half the big, I believe, with QI. I believe that's half the big, but yeah, you're up $6. So on the big contract, 6 times 5K, $30,000 per one lot.
There is a new isn't there a new micro silver coming out?
That's what I saw. I didn't read past that headline, but
Like
it could be
SIC
nice.
or something?
What is it going to be? 1/20th?
Something. I don't remember. I think it's like was it the 100 ounce?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jim just confirmed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, okay, so if the big is $5,000 and then a point, and we've moved $30,000, and the micro right now is 1/10 of that. So what is that? $3,000, a $3,000 move on a micro contract. I don't know if I can think of another market that's done that. Maybe the NASDAQ at some point, but it's my best markets are markets that trade, and that's something like I did a little audit of my own trading, like realize when I'm performing the best is when I'm able to get higher multiples. And if I avoid trading the markets that I'm trending, I'm really just avoiding trading the best performing markets. I think that's the one thing that there's advantages to futures trading and there's advantages to stock trading. One of the best advantages to stock trading is, stock traders rarely just trade the same stock. They're not really specialists unless you're working for a firm. They're trading multiple markets, scanning for whatever their criteria is and looking for that specific setup. So that's something I told myself I wanted to focus a little more, get more comfortable trading different markets, because, you'll watch a market like silver, which is up 45% in 20 days, and ask yourself, why have you not taken a single long in there?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I've always traded the NQ. Like NQ has been my bread and butter. Like I don't even trade ES. I've always traded NQ. And,
You're missing out.
I mean, I've traded ES, but it's not something that I actively take trades on. I've always been an NQ trader, just because it's something I'm comfortable with and feel like I know pretty well. But I am trying to get to a point to where I am, experimenting with other markets and trying to expand a little bit to create some more opportunity when the NASDAQ really isn't doing much.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find myself forcing trades when I only look at one market, because I just get bored.
Yeah,
I like
can see
having
that.
something on. So by trading like a wider group of markets, I've been able to really you have to watch more. It helps to have a good memory, and if you're not watching them, but I simply I have a watch list and I have like 20 different futures contracts up there, and I look at the 5-day percentage change and I look at the 20-day percentage change. Not that complicated of a stat to figure out, and just gravitate, hey, look, Bitcoin's up, I think 7% over the last 5 days or some number like that. And then I'll be like, oh, maybe Bitcoin's something that I haven't been trading, but I should start trading because it's at least moving. I mean, if you're a bearish side trader, you probably want to be in the nat gas market right now, which is down 20% over the last 20 days, including a 9% move to the downside here today. So, dive into what is are you a prefer longs or shorts? I prefer longs personally. Just because the market generally drifts higher. So I think it's easier to bet that way, but that's just me.
Jack, besides like NQ, what would you say is your favorite market?
I mean, I definitely still trade the NASDAQ the most, but I would say gold. I mean, it's just so regular to say ES, but gold lately, I mean, this move's been great. I've always traded ES, NQ, CL, and GC. But this year, in the last couple of months, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do more than that. I'm gonna take it to the next level. I'm gonna trade copper. I'm gonna trade. I've traded the Russell too as well. So I'll trade the Russell. I'll trade the Dow, and it just depends on where those markets were set up. Early this morning, like when I did my trade plan, the Russell was my go-to long. And if you look at the price action of the Russell compared to the ES or NQ today, it's clearly the winner to the upside at least. But one of the things that's easiest to do is I just pay attention. Do we close above or below the middle of the day? Like just very simple trend reading there. Like we're above the halfway back or we're below the halfway back. Yesterday, the ES closed below the halfway back. The NASDAQ closed below the halfway back. And I believe the Russell was above it. And you can see that reflect in the price action here today.
Yeah, Russell's just been on a tear this past week. It's literally carrying. Dude, I came one tick away from being stopped out of my short. Now back to break even.
Yeah, I'm going to be, I don't know. It's just so slow here.
Yeah. So
That's
like
okay.
Today's action has just been, buying dips and selling rips, which is another reason why I entered the short here. Just want to see if they'll sell it.
Yeah, I don't mind the short. I mean, the shorts are looking a little bit more probable on the NAS now, just at least for me anyways. They're rejecting IB low. They're unable to get back in the IB range, rejecting it multiple times. Just unable to find those buyers there.
I mean, the hourly on ES looks pretty disgusting. Could go either way here. 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. 4 minutes until the last hour, but sometimes I try to not get like too caught up in the smaller bars. Like this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you guys use Rencos?
I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, this is a good time. Not that I use Rencos myself, but like just throw on a Renco chart. Like don't it's just torture watching really tight ranges. But that's part of the reason I segment things in a time instead of just like trying to over calculate every 5-minute bar and over managing. We've all done it. You over manage positions because you're watching just every little tick. Cattle moves.
Cattle.
I have not traded cattle yet. What's that? Is that HE? HE. I did not trade cattle yet.
Yeah. Wait, no.
Or is that lean hogs?
That's lean hogs.
Oh.
LE is live cattle.
Who comes up with these?
You mean like the tickers?
Yeah, some of them make no sense to me. Like, why is the like HG copper's like scientific periodic table like letter? I don't know. Like,
I'm
is
dead.
it? Okay, that makes sense. It's a periodic table. Is GC gold? Are they all periodic tables? Is this okay? Now we know that. But now where do the months come from? Because those make no sense to me. Like Z, December, is that Greek numerals?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either.
Jack is asking all the right questions.
Like, we need to find out I want to put my word in. We need to find out the body.
No, that's real. We actually need answers on that.
ChatGPT.
Funny story. I actually had a guy in my trade room email the head of CBOE or CME and get them to create the CL futures contract. In his original tweet that he had mentioned the creation of the CL micro, I should say. He referred to the guy from my trade room. He had emailed them. That was when crude was like absurd, up above. I forgot how high it was, but now a micro future in CL is like basically one of the smallest contracts you can trade. Mm-hmm. But I still don't know who comes up with these things. We need to find out. We need to get our word out there.
We need answers.
Need answers, bro.
I feel like it's definitely a shady building in Chicago. I'm gonna find out which one it is. Yeah, calculator on the desk. I just ordered one of those like you guys seen those like watch those they're like $60. They're cheap with the calculators on them. You guys seen those?
No.
They're like super old school. Looks like an analog clock with like a little calculator on the watch. I just decided to order one instead of keeping a calculator on my desk. Just simple math though, nothing crazy. Yeah, if somebody knows what I'm talking about, post the link.
Luke just dropped some knowledge in the chat. There you go, Jack. You should read that. Come on, ES, drop, please.
Oh. Luke
coming in with a knowledge. All right,
Luke, is that from Chat GPT or is that from off the brain? If that's off the dome, thoroughly.
Luke is smart. He's constantly dropping little nuggets.
I feel like Luke's the go-to.
Luke's just the history guy. I'm gonna have to mark him. I wish you could like favorite people in the chat. Here we go. Shy Girl coming in with the information. All right. I'm going to have to write that down. That's definitely a copy.
Charlie, don't hate. Oh, here we go. We're getting the drop on ES.
There you go. Yeah, nice short.
Dude, one tick away from being stopped.
That's crazy.
That's great placement.
I got lucky there, I will say.
Your win is my loss.
Listen, you won too much today. Let us little people win.
Little people.
Little people.
Dwarf. Little people.
All right, let's do stops at break even on the rest of this position.
Yeah, Nas is really catching some sellers here. Looking pretty steep.
I will say though, for ES, you'd want to see buyers hold this 40 level.
They're defending my entry. So this is where I would start. Where are we going to be 25 minutes from now? So that's like the biggest bar we've had in an hour.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was worried about. Wow.
Thank God.
All right, well, I got stopped. I don't know what just hit the tape, but I did get stopped out of gold.
Oof.
That's news or some kind of tweet.
Drilled out on my GC there, but you know what happened, Salma? If you look at my entry on NQ, I think the chat followed me because you can see we ticked my entry. I think that's what it was. OpenAI strikes a $10 billion computing deal.
You know what? I'm sick of OpenAI and these headlines moving the market like this.
If I get one more headline.
Dude.
Oh, no. I am in a position that I am not paying attention to.
Well, I'm glad I got stopped out on that. Sheesh.
Oh my gosh, I had a limit in freaking CL that I forgot about and it just hit.
Well, it looks like it's green.
Well, it's green now. I'm gonna pull it into view.
Headline just came out. Trump have been told killing in Iran is stopping, no plan for executions.
I don't really want to. I gotta move my stop.
Yeah, I don't like this candle at all. This is.
Wait, so What is the news? Oh, he's speaking. Great.
Yeah, Trump, a big headline just came
Fantastic.
across about the killing in Iran is stopping and there's no plans for executions.
All right, I am stopped out of that. That was quick.
So like I was saying before, you'd want to see for ES, you'd want buyers to hold this 69.40 level on the day. Doing so can help us push into, hold on, sorry. Oops. Holding 40s would help us push to 70s by tomorrow and then potentially new all-time highs by the end of the week. Failing to hold, and we just flush and fill the gap below.
That's a $2 move in CL in the last however many minutes it's been since that news hit. That is the biggest move
Yeah, that's massive.
a long time. I was not expecting that limit to be hit today.
Wow, CL.
We're right back at where I got long, but that volatility is a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some dangerous territory there.
Well, I'm always using bracket orders, so if I do get filled on things, I'm not like concerned if it just like absolutely wrecking me. I always have like a stop in place and a target.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a trick I've learned after getting just knocked about like things I forgot about when you're trading multiple markets.
That's like the downfall of trading so many different markets is sometimes a little bit too hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm normally pretty good at it, but you are gonna have those situations where you have like that's such an outsized move. Like, I mean, that was a $2.10 move. That's probably a 5 like times the standard deviation of what's typically moved at least. So it's just like those occurrences are rare and that's fine. But that does. So wait. So are we bombing Iran? I'm not sure what the final. Are we nuking Iran this weekend? What's going on? Like, I actually didn't catch whatever was said.
I mean, I hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah,
But
I don't I don't really know yet. I'm trying to find more information on it, but it seems like things are moving in a more positive direction based
well,
off
the
based
speculation
off the
is
headline.
there's been a ton of speculation that there's gonna be like an attack this weekend because of, and Tracy had mentioned it when she was on here earlier.
I'll drop something in the chat that just came out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at my financial juice feed.
Trump says he's been told that killing in Iran is stopping, no plan for executions. It's what latest thing that just came out.
Yeah, I don't know, but it seems to be good for these indexes. I'm actually going to be moving my targets up on these indexes just because of this reaction.
Yeah, Nas is catching some nice buyers here.
Yeah, this is when I start moving things up. 25,672 is kind of my top expectation here. I can definitely move my stop up now because that should definitely be defended. The killing run is stopping.
Yeah, it's stopping.
Yeah. Here's a reject of the 0.618 on the day. This is crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've just been spent so much of today at the bottom of the range that when we do start moving the opposite direction, especially after this, like I think this is like headline relief. It seems like from the market based on the fear and speculation that maybe we're gonna drop some tomahawks over the weekend. So this is one of those things where I literally, like I said, I just go to my timer. Like, I don't know. We just started move. This is new information to the market. If I'm long, why am I immediately getting out of this position? Instead, I'm like just moving my target up. I had targets at 611s, but now I'm like, oh, well, you know what? Let me go higher. And that could be the right decision. It could be the wrong decision. I don't know. But
I think it should work out in your favor.
We'll
Especially
see.
because you have such a good entry as well.
Yeah, that entry was clean. They gave you another shot down there, but no, that news helped me in one position and hurt me in another. But hey, that's trading.
No, I like the thought process behind it though. I mean, you got momentum now going in your favor with off a headline, and so that could cause the markets to go even higher. And so, targets could change. I like the thought process behind it.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of time left in the day here too. I don't think we're gonna go straight up there. We will see where we are. I mean, I guess that news technically hit at 3 o'clock on the dot. So 3:25 would be that 5 bar kind of rule I have. So we'll see where we're at then. Then we'll have another 35 till close. Oil's at my lower level of anticipated support. We are now how many dollars off the high? $3 off the high, something like that now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Real quick chat.
Or
Just
$4. Oh.
Just so you guys know, at 4 p.m., we have Jared coming on. NinjaTrader did post a link in the chat. You guys fill it out. You can get a chance to be part of the next coaching session. So definitely fill that out ASAP. And then tune in for Jared's session after we're off.
4% move in 9 minutes.
Yeah, Jared is really good, Fractal.
Yeah. Jack, this is my first time trading with you, so I get the vibe you like to hold positions for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a scalper. If I find myself like taking trades off quickly, it's because we're in like the market conditions, which I call frustrated market conditions, where just nobody's winning, similar to what we were in like before that news hit. It's just frustration. Shorts are frustrated, longs are frustrated, and sometimes whole days exist like that. But yeah, I typically like to hold for like my minimum point ideal trade in NASDAQ is 50 points. Like I won't even mess with anything if it's less than that. The only time I'll look to take less than that is if I've been in a trade for like a long time already and we've kind of gone nowhere. Like the trade I was in just there, my entry was pretty clean in a sense that within immediately entering, it was going my way. So I felt a little more comfortable holding through that chop prior to that news event. But had I like entered in the middle of the beginning of that chop scenario that began around 210, I would have been super frustrated by like 240 because we didn't do anything. So I like if you just look at like the trading in general, your trades come from outsized wins. If you like study like professional traders, like Paul Tudor Jones talks about, he doesn't take a trade unless it's like a 5-hour trade. And you can't hit big trades without staying in them.
Yeah. 100%.
Guys, by the way, I'm filling this survey out as well. Is
Bitcoin
that okay?
making a new high here too as well.
Do I get a chance to win with a coaching session with Jared? I'm filling it out. Let's see. We're really struggling here after sweeping the highs of that euro close candle at 11:30 on ES. Seller stepping in here. But Jack, I'm the same way. I like to hold my trades a little bit longer if I can.
Yeah. In a perfect world, right? We get long and or short and it continues to go your way, but
yeah. The issue is like, at least for the past 3 days, I've noticed the trend in the market is a lack of follow through on a lot of plays. So obviously first hour, we've been having these crazy moves, and then the rest of the day is kind of either like range bound or choppy or no follow throughs. And so it kind of forces you to just take the money and go.
Yeah,
totally.
Like
totally.
today I was on.
I mean, that's part of reading market conditions. Like if you have a target, and that's like I like to gravitate towards markets that I do consider trending because they have a higher probability of taking out that high of the day that, as opposed to like ES and NQ, I do not think are taking out highs of the day. And before they go up, they're going to pull back. It's not really a clean trade. Like it's not ideally like even a market I want to be long inside of, because that trade was basically a trend reversal that I bought. Like, that's a
Yeah.
hard trade. That's not an easy trade.
Yeah.
It's much more easy to go with the path of least resistance. But, you know, the path of least resistance this morning was down literally until after lunch at 1:30. And, you know, we made that new low coming right out of 1:30. And you know, apparently we're moving higher now. But yeah, you're absolutely right on that. And if you look at the tape today, and you know, you were short, we had to move down, then we had, you know, 100+ point move up, then it was 200 down, 70 up. Like, that's a lot of pain if you're not trading in and out of that. So, you know, you really have to be market selective when you're holding for longer time frames. If we're in a choppy market and you think you're just going to hold for a new high, you're going to find yourself really frustrated.
Yeah. I normally look for, if I don't feel like I can get 30 points out of the NASDAQ, I usually don't touch it. I usually look 30 points is usually my sweet spot.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have like a certain set of points that I'm trying to, like, you know, target day in and day out. Just like if I, you know, I mean, I went for like almost like 8 points or something on my last trade, but it's just what the chart was telling me. So if I can just follow the chart and not necessarily follow like P&L or points, it works out much better for me.
Yeah. I think that's the important thing about me of watching like the average true range. It just tells you what the market's doing, like point wise. If you're not aware of what the range is, like where are you getting your expectancy of how far we can go?
What do you typically put your like ATR settings for? Is it just like one day?
It's a 10 bar 5 minute is what I pay attention to, and then I multiply it by 50%. So I take the 10 bar. I mean, whatever time frame I'm on, it'll calculate that 10 bar.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm looking at a 5 minute because that's kind of the time frame that you're really looking at intraday, in my opinion, or maybe smaller. And then that I just have a code that just spits out a number that gives me the 50% larger than the 5 minute range, which I tell myself, if I'm right, I shouldn't have it move that far against me. Like if the ATR on over the last 10 bars is 50 points, my code will spit it at 75 because it's a 50% increase of that number.
Gotcha. I think the one I have right now is like, it just calculates the previous day, but I can also make it go by whatever time frame I'm on as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can pay attention to like the day types we've been having. You know, this is really the first pretty heavy down day we've had in a while. Like where we had continuation on new lows this morning, and man, if we have a new low and a close.
Well, you got to keep in mind that ES didn't make a new low after 11:30. We didn't make a new low, whereas NQ made a new low at 1:30. So we have a little bit of divergence there. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do make a new low on ES.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I'm going to move my NQ stop up here.
I would move that stop into profit.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit into profit, but we start coming back to the apex of that breakout. She don't.
If this candle turns red, that is a nasty wick.
What like on what time frame?
On the 30-minute?
Okay.
That is nasty.
Yeah, that is. Holy.
This, guys,
She's
if this turns
right
red,
here. She's fighting.
If this turns red, I can see ES Hing and making new lows. I really can. And I just don't, I really want bulls to hold the 69.40 level so we can continue higher, but I don't know.
My target's going down to 611.
Yeah, I just looked at that 30-minute wick. Holy. Yeah, that's 30.
Yeah, that is. It really is.
I don't have a document describing my calculations. They're all up here. No, I hate writing. I don't write anything. So I don't write documents, but it's pretty easy to understand. It's just a 50% increase of a 10 bar average true range.
Jack, we're in 2026 where ChatGPT can write it for you.
Yeah, but that means I have to figure out how to use it. What am I gonna pick up my phone? Like honestly, when you're trading like all day, my mental capital is so exhausted to want to do
I hear you.
anything else. Like I don't want to sit down and write like a document, even using ChatGPT, and then I gotta like upload it to some website that I don't know how to use, and like I don't want to
just call it. What'd you just call it? Chat what?
ChatGPT. I don't know. ChatGPT, is that what it's called? Did
yeah,
I say
yeah.
something else? Yeah, I mean, I have tons of videos that I've made on YouTube. It's just like it's just me talking, which I'm doing all already. But
this is a great question. How do you all set up your stops? Is it based on dollar amount or just points? Me personally, I set my stops based off of the chart. So if it's, depending on the trade, it could be 10 points, it could be 5 points. It can be anything really, just based off of the chart and what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
what about you guys?
I'm the same way. Mine's off structure. So the only thing that really changes is if a structure that invalidates my trade is pretty far off. The only thing that will change is my position sizing. That way, I'm not putting myself into too much of a blender when it does go against me or wants to go to my stop. I'll adjust my position size accordingly to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I change my size based on the size of my stop, but my stop I typically use based on the average true range. So I base my stop on the average true range, and then I change my size to try to be, around the same depending on how big that stop is. So I'm not trading like with $1,500 of risk on one trade and $500 of risk on another. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I think what Joey said definitely hits the nail on the head, where it all depends on sizing as well. Just being able to size differently depending on what market you're trading. Or if the trading conditions aren't in your favor and you know that and you're self-aware, then like, okay, maybe today's a day where I size down. Or if they are in your favor, maybe today's a day where I take advantage and I size up a little bit more than usual.
And while you're all here, do me a favor. We got over 600 of you guys watching. Hit that like button. We only got, 100 of you hitting it. We need more.
Oh, chat. What are we doing?
Come on. Here we go. There's a couple
1-6.
more. Roll it up. Roll it up. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, by the way, chat, for the 600 of you watching, when we hit 200,000 subscribers, something good is going to happen. I don't know what yet, but I know something good.
How many subscribers?
200K.
Ooh.
I've been keeping track. It's up like 2K almost every week, 1 or 2K every week.
200K and something great will happen.
Bunch of slackers here. Oh, wow. We just bumped it up 80 likes. That's what I like to hear. There's a lot of codes. I mean, I wrote my own. Or I had somebody write it, to be honest. But there is almost in every single platform, there's some form of average true range code that you can just kind of plug in. Or as Salma told me, just use ChatGPT for it.
Dude, I think a lot of people don't use ChatGPT to its like potential. We have AI at the touch of a button, and yet people still are too afraid to use it. I use it for everything, and like everything that I would need it for, not just for anything. You know what I mean? Like
I'm gonna start writing my parents' emails with ChatGPT.
Dude,
I have a buddy who's in the marketing space, and he coded an entire software program. Like he owns a software company that he coded with AI and just did it all himself. And it's incredible. Like it's insane what you can do.
Top 1% chat user is wild.
That is wild. How did you even know that?
What are you getting done, dude? Like, I feel like with that, you should like tell me what you did. Like, are you just writing love letters to your girlfriend, or is there something more serious that you accomplished? No, that's the thing with AI right now. We're getting very close to being indistinguishable from reality as far as like online, caricatures and like, replicating somebody else's face and stuff. It's getting crazy, especially I think about that with us because we are on like my voice is all over the internet, my face, I have tons of these. Someone could easily just generate all of that and make a video.
Yep.
It's something to think about.
Why would you give them ideas?
Well, what are you going to do? I feel like anybody that would do that probably already has that idea in their head.
Yeah, probably.
We're going to
It
get
is crazy
on a
what AI is
horse.
spitting out because it's like some things you just don't know if it's real or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a while it was like pretty easy to tell. Like my friends will send me stuff on social and I'll be like, dude, like it's not real. Like, come on. But now it's like, I don't know. I really don't know anymore.
Yeah.
5 minute looks like it wants to push here. It's a
We're
little
in a
skeptical.
simulation. AI checklist in trading school. Probably get some signups. I used to have people like copy my Instagram and scam people with my name. I was like, yeah, dude, that $10,000 you sent in Bitcoin was not to me. I'm sorry.
That happens to me daily in Discord.
Dude, it's so bad.
I swear there's like 1,000 me's out there.
Yep. On Discord, on Twitter. It's like,
Yeah.
how are you? And people get scammed. I'm like, how are you not, using just a little bit of
Common
the word
sense.
common
Yeah.
sense. Thank you. Yes. Common sense is not so common.
It's sad. I mean, it's just the desperation of people and like the promises that, I've engaged with some of them that have like, DM me or something just to be curious about like their script writing skills. And if not everybody's all there, let's just be honest, not everybody's all there. And it's really sad. I mean, and there's really no repercussions. There's not a lot of like enforcement of that stuff because it's so hard to track.
Mhm. I just tell all my people that I will never message you first. And if you get a message from me first, it's not me.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Dude, I have to send one of those messages out at least once a month.
Yeah. What platforms is it happening for you guys?
Discord and Twitter.
Oh yeah,
For-
Discord.
Mainly Discord for me, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been attacked on Twitter yet, but I had it on Instagram. But Instagram, ever since they allowed verification, it's gotten a little easier to report them because these other people, like it's so hard to get them taken down, like fake accounts or something. But yeah, Discord, I've had that happen in Discord.
Yep.
That's the problem with having an open Discord, realistically. Come in, copy all the usernames, and then send out individual DMs.
I just took a small long here.
You're
This looks
joining
like on
the
the-
party.
Yeah, 5 minute looks like it wants to push higher. The only thing is 15 minute is currently an inside bar. But I have my stops at the lows of that 15 minutes, so we'll see. Literally so lightly sized, only 3 micros.
Yeah, actually, on over Christmas, I sat down with my parents and like my family, and I was like, "Hey guys, like we need like a code word for mom and dad." This happened to one of my friends where like his grandma got called, like, "Hey, you need 10K, grandma," kind of thing. You guys heard about that happening to people yet?
No.
No.
Yeah, like basically that somebody's full on imitating you and contacting your family, and like,
What?
yeah, dude, it's going on.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's like next level.
yeah. Because I mean, think about it, they can duplicate your voice and then call. They can, probably have the technology to like know someone you love's number. It's not that hard.
Hmm.
It's called spear phishing. Wow. Now we know who does it. All right, enough doom and gloom talk.
Yeah.
We're all scared now. That's yeah. Wow, that's a great name for it. I'm not gonna lie. That's a great name because it's like a kill shot.
Salma, you got long?
Yeah, if I'm quiet, guys, it's literally because I'm filling out this survey that I think every single person watching should also fill out.
Yeah,
It's a
I'll
great
fill it out.
opportunity.
Yeah, I'll
It's
fill
a
it
little
out
bit
too.
long, but you lose nothing and you can potentially gain a coaching session with Jared.
I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, okay.
We can't
go
all do it at the same time, right?
No.
All distracted.
I'm almost done with mine. But some of the questions in the forums, like in the forum actually has me thinking. Like I actually had to think about some of these questions. Like, what are your short and long-term goals in trading?
Yeah, I'm gonna type that out later. That's a little much to be doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I clicked all the multiple choice and I was like, ding, 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 ding. And then I was like, oh,
You got to answer some.
let me use ChatGPT.
No, this is something I won't use ChatGPT for. This is something I need to answer.
CL is still hanging out down there in that 60. Still seeing some sellers there.
Yeah. Don't know why it's moving, but you know. If you think how weak oil was prior to this breakout, for us to bust back down to the mid 50 range is nothing. I mean, how quickly we've come off that. This 59.80 is really important for me, but if we don't crack that, man, I see this. What's to keep us going back to 57, the beginning of this move?
Yeah.
I'll be on, anytime we have an outsized move like that, going back to like trend trading and keeping your eye on the ball, I mean, that's a serious move in CL. And they'll most likely be, I don't want to argue continuation because that would be like a bias, but there should be tradable volatility that is, worth watching. Do you guys trade CL at all, or you're just, no?
I
I
haven't traded
haven't.
CL. No, the only thing I've traded outside of NASDAQ is gold.
Gotcha.
Wait, I lied. I have traded TL, but it's never something that I've done like consistently. I think I've just done it like once or twice.
Okay. Did you get long ES or NQ here?
Yes, I never trade NQ, guys.
Oh, all right. We're learning. We're learning.
Yeah. It's a very rare occurrence if I do. But it's moving nicely. We're up 6 points here, $100. Nothing crazy.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Looking good. I'm gonna move my stop below this low here in the NQ.
Yeah, that 5 minute was signaling a push higher.
Oh, what did that 30-minute candle just close? So
Oh yeah, let me see.
What's she look like?
It looked good.
What's she look like?
Oh, look real good.
You're a pretty girl.
No, it looks good.
You're a pretty girl. Let's go.
Even the 15-minute closed as like an inside bar, and now this current candle already broke the highs of it. So I'm anticipating another like continuation higher to maybe another 10 points or so on ES.
I'm gonna move my copper into view here.
If buyers close above 70 on ES, this sets us up for a really nice continuation to another all-time highs. I'm happy we got like, a little bit of some trading opportunities on stream today.
Mm-hmm. Not bad. I actually missed my entry on the NASDAQ. I would have liked to have taken an entry in the 40s, but I chose to stay out of it. It would have been a good one, though. I mean, it's an IB failure, which is my bread and butter setup. So missed opportunity.
Wait, should I move my target up now that we're really,
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty safe to do.
611. This is gonna mean I'm gonna be all day. I'm gonna go from taking 611s to being in this trade till freaking 4 o'clock.
Jack, I would hold to like 32.
I know my target above is 25,670, but like it's just an internal debate of do I take 611 or do I go 670?
Question is, do they squeeze it like they did yesterday? End of the day. If they do that, that would be very nice.
NASDAQ getting ready to come up these 600s. Yeah, it's looking really good.
There's a lot of people on the wrong side of this move. If you're asking me.
Squeeze them.
We're picking up speed. All right, so what did I say? I said when we moved at 3 o'clock, I said 325 is when you're making the next decision. 325 is right when we started looking good, right? When we picked back up there at the 325 bar.
Yeah.
That's when I move my stop. So I'm gonna give it another 25 minutes from that standpoint if we're pushing above my targets. But wherever we are at 350, I'm out. If we haven't hit my target.
Holy push. I looked away for 2 seconds.
You're moving the market.
I'm telling you guys right now, 70 is a major pivot level I have on ES. We close above that. That is a beautiful, beautiful close on the day.
You got to pump it up.
Yep, push it higher. Go for it. I'm trailing up too, Jack. I'm putting my stops in profit as well. So Jim can be happy.
I would even go as far as saying like a 50% retracement on IB is not too far out of stretch.
What's the 50 of the IB and the NQ?
See, it'd be around 667.
I think we
Okay.
already hit that on ES. Let me see.
That's right where my
Yeah.
target is right now.
Guys,
This
screw
is-
this. I'm gonna just trail this up.
We got Salma holding.
I
know you're a
prefer to
holder. You're a
hold.
holder. You're a holder. We got a bunch of holders here. Hodler. I'm not a hodler though. Bitcoin hodler. Difference. Holder and hodler.
Come on, push it.
This is my 611s giving me my.
Luke, what's the 25% of the previous 4 hour? What's the level on that? Catching up on the chat now. $65, $75. Okay, nice.
Declaration of faith. I like that. I think Bitcoin's just such a tradable product, though. It's pure speculation. Like, no use case. Store of value, okay. Sure. Like, what's the use case? Like, gold actually has like arguably a use case. Silver, arguably a physical use case, including store of value. So it's just like pure market participants.
Daily candle on ES looks nice. I'm gonna push this up more.
Smart trade. It depends on the day. Generally, like I said earlier, like it's 30 points on the NAS is generally my sweet spot if I can get 30 points. But that doesn't mean I take off at 30 points. If I'm in a position that's, really moving with me, I'll trail my stop in profit and capture more of the move. It just really depends on the market context.
Yeah.
But if I don't feel like I can get 30 points out of the trade, then I really probably won't take it.
I never in my life have seen anybody buy anything with Bitcoin. I've read about it on the internet, but I've actually never seen it happen. And I've never even been to a place where it's clearly visible that I could think of, like a high commerce place. Maybe like a vape shop takes Bitcoin, but like I'm not going to like a hot restaurant. They're like, hey, by the way, you can pay in Bitcoin.
Why the hell would a vape store accept Bitcoin?
Because they're just on like edge, Oh yeah, I mean, back in the day, like gold. I'm just saying, like I've seen gold. I own gold things. I own silver things. Like there's no like you can't own like Bitcoin things. Like you can't see Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's why crypto for me is like a little bit hard to like wrap my mind around and grasp. Sorry, chat, had to say it. I'm about to get stopped out here on ES.
Yeah, no,
CL
my
it.
only point is it's totally psychological. I'm not saying it's a bad investment. I think it's a great trading vehicle because it's totally psychological. That's my only point. I don't know where Bitcoin could go to $1 million. I have no idea. But in the meantime, it's just because it's so psychological, it's a very clear trade.
Just an update here.
GGs.
CL is sending it right now. Seeing some sellers coming through on CL.
Again, still, huh?
Yeah.
I think Trump
I think-
just said something.
Well, I think CL going down, no headline, Salma. CL going down, I think is bullish for the indexes because I think the same fear that drove CL up drove the indexes lower. So if anything, the indexes are playing catch up to that down move in CL. Like I said, I thought I was going back to $57. If we started the move at 57 and the hedge is over, the hedges come off. The hedges come off. Wild. Just another 84-cent move in the last 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
So CL down, bullish for the indexes is my theory. And that's just currently, like I said, the hedges put on in CL, the same reasons the hedges are put on in the indexes.
NASDAQ still seeing some buyers here as well. Yeah, I just think NASDAQ's looking really good. Really, really good.
We tapped into the 0.786 on the day for ES, and that's where we started to see a little bit of sellers. I still would like to see this go higher. I'm out of my position, Jack.
Okay.
I got
Yeah, so
stopped out.
my target is what I refer to as the lower mid. And that's actually where we are in the ES. What the lower mid is, if you take the mid of the prior day and then take it to the low of the current day, that I refer to as the lower mid, which is just, it's like the halfway back of the prior day's halfway back. And when I divide markets in quarters, I have this theory that, like, I actually have never ran the data because I'm not sophisticated enough to know how, but I almost always see at the end of the day, we will snap back to these levels. So if we are below the lower mid in the ES coming out of lunch and I start seeing buying, my target is that lower mid. That lower mid was 69.65. In the NASDAQ, that level is 25,672. Where can you find a breakdown of my strategy? I have a bunch of YouTube videos out and I do have my own Discord. But yeah, that's probably where you'll find that. Or you can tune in every time I'm on NinjaTrader and as I explain it in pieces. I've been trading so long that every little piece of information is taking me like 2 years to figure out. I'll be like, oh, let me add that to my strategy.
Or Jack will do a write-up via ChatGPT.
If you want to help me out with that.
I got you. Yes. For the people, I will do it. We need like what? How many likes on the stream, Jack, for you to be convinced?
I don't know if we got enough viewers to meet the amount of likes it would take for me to want to do all that work.
Oh, come on. You wouldn't do anything. It would be ChatGPT.
I got to talk to it. I talk to enough robots all day, you know? I ordered one of those ones from China. My girlfriend's a robot now.
I'm dead.
Joe Crypto, how you doing, man? What's up? JFP, appreciate you.
Yeah, let's see if ES drops here to the 9 EMA.
Let's pump it up already here.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up. It's the only thing that ran through my head when I heard that. Does that date me? I don't know if it dates me or not. Oh, well.
No. How old are you?
35.
Okay.
Uncle
vibes, baby.
I'm older than you, man. I'm Unk.
Jack is an Unc too.
Jack, how old are you?
36.
Oh, I'll be 36 in March.
Happy early birthday.
How long you been trading?
Oh, I bought my first stock when I was 15 and I traded my first futures contract at 19. So
holy,
I've been in the game a while.
Long time.
I almost shorted that.
Before the internet blew up with all of these internet traders, which I love to see. I've just been like watching it from the sidelines. And now I know. I'm like, wow, these kids are 20 and they know everything. This is amazing.
I'm on my 7th year.
That's good. 7 years is good.
When in March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, actually. It's my birthday.
Come to Chicago.
Dude, yes. I'm like 8 hours from Chicago. I think, yeah.
Where are you at? Say Nashville?
I'm in Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
1 year. When did NinjaTrader Live officially launch?
I think March.
Oh, okay.
It was a relaunch. It was a revamp. That was such a good short. God,
Moving my stop up here.
it's unfortunate. I think I might be the
60.
youngest one in the Ninja crew, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there's anyone younger than me.
How old are you?
24, but not for
24.
long.
Wow.
Not for long, unfortunately.
Wait, you have March birthday too?
No, January.
Oh.
Birthday's coming up. Oh, that's right, Mr. Josh. Jim is 23. I forgot. I forgot.
I thought so. Just glad to confirm that. All right.
That's crazy. Delhi has positions older than you.
Ah. I had a floor trader I was talking to that thought he knew Delhi. Does anybody know if his parents owned a movie studio? Anybody know if that's true?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to, I know I'm gonna have to ask him. I never see him on here.
Jeez. That was a good short. I hope somebody in the chat caught that.
Oh wow, yeah. Looking at
Someone,
some
Chris in the chat said Salma's eyeing that short setup. Like, how'd you even know? How did you know I was? Good job, Luke. Great short.
oil catching a bid in the 59s.
That's a nasty 15-minute candle close on ES.
We got 15 minutes left in the day.
Yeah.
I kind of want to short this. Oh my God, no. Wait for me.
I don't know. I think pressing down here. You missed your entry.
No.
Where you wanted it is where you should have had it.
No, I'm gonna target the 30-minute OR low. See if we get a little something here.
All right. Your gain is my pain.
That 15-minute candle looks good. I was convinced. Trump is now no longer speaking. Thank God.
My stop is now 25,560.
See, what do we get on the NAS there? Scout to 37, 36? 636? Yeah.
636. Yeah, 636. The higher you're saying?
Yeah, before we started reversing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 636.
I mean, I still think our structure is bullish unless we get below like 25,550, and then I don't want to chase a short. Like
Yeah.
you can fade the pops. That was a really strong move up. We got 15 minutes into the close, but if you think about the momentum, it's still to the upside here.
Oh, I agree. I do agree.
I got oil resistance at 60.27. That final push down in oil seemed like it pushed the indexes up a bit, and then as soon as the gas gave off, we just kind of retraced into. I think we're either going to range out here or maybe get one of those 415 pushes into new highs, but like right past the close, and we'll get another ChatGPT headline. China decides to buy chips.
See if Nas starting to kind of maybe range here.
Jack, maybe you can answer this question, but someone in the chat is asking how they can pull up like the options position that you have.
The box at the bottom.
Yeah.
I got that from NinjaTrader. They gave it to me.
I mean,
it's
not something
put it on the
available to
platform.
everyone?
I don't know. Like, ask them to put it on the platform. It was a custom code that I imported that they gave me to have the viewers get more visibility into like the positions of the streamers, I guess. So, yeah, I can email the dude that sent it to me and be like, yo, just put it on the platform. Maybe it's out there on the internet too. I have no idea. It's called a position tracker. So
Yeah.
maybe Google NinjaTrader position tracker. It
If
might be
it's-
somewhere. It might be somewhere out there.
It's probably just for the streamers.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
need
don't
to
see why they
get-
wouldn't release it. It's not like it's.
I need to get a PC so I can access this. I trade on a Mac Studio.
Yeah, me too. Oh, just a MacBook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on, drop it. Dump it.
They have released it. All right, there's your answer. I don't know where it is though. Google it.
Let's go. All right, I'm going to lower my stop here.
We were checking with Mike to see about TradingView. Let's go.
I don't know if TradingView will allow that.
Why
Would
would
be
they
cool
not?
though. I
feel
don't
like
know.
It's.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah. I might
All
just
right,
hold.
chat.
This
To hold
copper
this,
is- Copper
hold
is
this
closing
through-
incredibly strong.
I'll go time in 30 seconds. All right, screw it. I'm gonna close this position. $50, nothing crazy. Still think you could work out.
Attention traders, it's algo time.
Dude, I'm a paper hander.
It's tough
Algo
at the end of the
time.
day.
Huh?
It's tough holding at the end of the day. Like if
I
you're
know.
if you're in a brand new position, because you can get those just super fast wicks. Like I mean, that's looking like it was a good close now. You know, like my stop is super tight here. If we wick below anything that we just made, I'm out. But right on cue, they listen to Kane.
All right, cool. They pushed it. I feel better now. I still think that 15-minute candle close look nasty. Chubby Panda, I probably would have held it if it was any other day.
Thanks, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Laying the smackdown.
Someone said that the afternoon stream flew by. I think so too.
Did. It was a
Went
good
by
stream.
pretty quick. Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. 1 a.m. Pff, man, that is way past my bedtime.
No, but that's dedication. AWNTL, guys. Do you guys know what that means?
No.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret.
Oh, wait,
on an
I-
acronym.
Okay.
You do?
No, wait, go ahead. This is some Zoomer
Okay.
stuff.
No, we just created it the other day. It's always watching NinjaTrader live.
Oh,
AWNTL.
Do we have a Twitter hashtag for that?
We're about to start it.
Let's go.
AWNTL.
Chat, you know the deal.
can we get some merch? I need some NinjaTrader merch.
I would actually rock that.
Yeah, actually, facts. Can we get that?
You guys need a clipper too. You need to be clipping this stuff.
Cool down, Dave. You should never forget that there's an afternoon segment on NTL.
I want a wig of Anthony's hair.
What?
Just like, just a slick back.
What's up, Pax?
I just want hair.
Hey man, it's all perspective. It's all perspective.
Looks like they
Oh.
pin it into the close.
I'm not getting greedy. I haven't touched anything. Yeah, if I move my stop down, that would be me getting greedy. My stop is strategically placed, and that's why we've come right to it, not taking it out.
Jim says stop with the hair talk. Oh, Bray
Oh,
trades.
everybody's got their sore spots.
Real quick, someone's asking me about my indicators. This is just a key level indicator. They're turned into acronyms, so it doesn't take up the screen. But PWM means previous week mid, and then CYM means current year mid, just for me to know. And then Jack, someone's asking about your chart. They want to know how to mimic.
What about it?
They want to know how to mimic your chart. I don't know exactly what.
I mean, it's a 5-minute chart with custom studies that I've created. So you can mimic the 5-minute chart. I actually got permission. I have to go through all of this stuff. I promise I will get them on NinjaTrader for the public, but it's just going to take me in ChatGPT 4 hours to figure out like all the steps I have to do. I have to like contact somebody over there. I have their contact. I just, like I said, I have no mental capital when I'm done trading to get any of this stuff done.
Jack, I will help you. No excuses. It will take us 30 minutes. A 30-minute phone call and we'll get everything squared away.
All right. Well, if you want to help me get my indicators on NinjaTrader, but actually there's ever since the new year, there's something changed. I had something coded where something changed at the new year. I have to talk to my coder and get something fixed because there should be a headline box that prints more information. I just reached out to him. So let me get it fixed and then we'll get it on together.
All right, cool. Hold you to it. I'm not going to let you just, no excuses.
Look at that stop placement. Oh.
Guys, there is a poll in the chat. You should all be voting yes.
56 votes.
How are people saying no? I don't understand.
They obviously have way cooler clothes.
I'm wearing my Ninja merch right now. Actually, funny story, real quick. My sister came over today and she goes, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "What is that? It's really nice. NinjaTrader. What is that?" Like wanted to like snag it off of me. Like hands off.
I'm going to say it looks like you stole it from a boy.
No, this is ninja gear.
I need a ninja beanie to keep my head warm in the winter.
She was trying to D-block my ninja gear.
Oh man, we're gonna get this last 5-minute pump into my 66s. The devil's in the details, baby. That's why we go 666 because like the Illuminati controls the markets, and so we just have to like do these things.
Close above 69.70 on ES would be amazing. Oh yes, and everybody be on the lookout for TSM's earnings report. They report overnight.
I actually got to move down to 63s here on my target just because I have one more level that I don't want to be at.
Armenian, that's like the New Jersey, New York talk. D-block. You guys know what D-block means?
D-block?
Yeah, like if someone D-blocks your hat.
No,
I
defensive.
have no
block.
idea.
Oh my God. Okay, I need to change up the way I speak on here. It's slang for like if I don't know, if I steal your hat on you. If I say now it's mine. I don't know, D-block.
So it's theft.
Essentially, yeah. You have you have to look it up on Google. No,
Okay.
I'm not from New York. D-block is like stealing, yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys.
All right, no
Hello,
more
Jim.
D-block talk. What's up, Jim?
Yeah, no more hair talk either, please.
My bad.
Listen, wait.
I thought it was a good conversation.
It is.
Speaking-
Jim, you have more hair than I do. What are you talking
No.
about?
No.
Wow.
Well, okay. All right, Joey.
Joey, you just made him feel good.
Anyway,
Jim.
great discussion, great price action, great everything today.
Speaking of hair, what'd you do with your beard?
Oh, Shab said I had to shave it.
Oh,
you
man.
weren't even gonna wait
Chat
till Indiana
loved the
won?
beard.
I appreciated the lumberjack Jim.
I'm punking Shab. She didn't say
If
that.
Indiana loses, it's because you shaved.
No, dude, Miami has no idea what's coming, man.
I hope not.
They can't handle it. And that's a quote from Mike Burke, so you know it's true.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's go. Well, you got some positions still here at the end of the day, right?
I'm still long copper.
Yep.
And I'm still long NASDAQ. I had a pretty well stop placement, came about a few points to it. And I'm just looking for one more push in the highs, and I think we'll get it right after the bell, hopefully. But yeah, my target is 25,663 and 611. I mean, copper I might swing because that thing has just been cruising.
Right.
But
Jack, you're being greedy, Jack.
why is that greedy? I think that's strategy. You get an entry that just goes your way and doesn't look back.
Greedy.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. Great afternoon. We really appreciate it. We are going to pivot right at 4 o'clock quickly. So I want to do my customary hit that subscribe button, everybody. These guys are working hard for you. Plus the thumbs up. Let's give them a round of applause because they did a great job today. Joey, Jack, Salma, can't wait. Don't forget, follow Salma's charity effort on her X channel. It's easy to do and it's a good thing because you know what I'm doing Martin Luther King Day? Gin martini. But Selma's actually doing something good for humanity. So thank you for doing that, Selma.
Thank you, Jim, for putting it out there. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll try to get a better link up tomorrow morning. So
it's all good. Thank you guys. Anybody who donates, really appreciate it. I'll be sure to post like pictures and everything of what it is we end up doing.
All right, where are we closing at here? I'm looking at the spoos right now.
Looks like we just get pinned into the close.
Yeah. And point of control. Go figure.
Oil caught a bid back to the 60.
Oil down. I want oil down.
There it is.
There we have it. All right.
There we go.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to talking to you again in a little while. But we have a special event coming up. I want to talk about that. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great
Jim.
day, chat.
See you, chat.
All right, like I said, we have a special event. This is probably the most important session that I could think of. It's called Retail Therapy. And we have mental game coach extraordinaire, author of The Mental Game of Trading, and a hell of a great guy, Jared Tendler. How are you doing, my friend?
Jim, it's good to see you. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, man. It is good to see you too. And I'm so glad you're here. You've done a couple of these with us before. You have a couple of independent traders that you're going to be talking to today.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to be focusing on everybody's favorite FOMO. I think as we get the new year kicked off, reasonable number of people make resolutions. I'm not a big fan of resolutions. We may get into that in the session today, but if you're going to set goals, getting rid of FOMO should be at the top of the list if it's an issue for you. And I know it is for a few of our guests today. So.
It's an issue for me. And the other things on your website, inconsistent results.
Is it the fear of
confidence
missing out on
swings,
these sessions?
choking. This is all about me, man. I love this stuff. You're helpful.
Fantastic, Jim.
In any event, everybody, Jared is here in the house. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to him. I'll pop in the chat, and it's going to be worth your time. So stick around.
Thanks. Appreciate the handoff. I always love these sessions. Great opportunity for you all to get some good work in. And specifically, as we kick it off, if you want to be a part of this session in the future, we're going to see two traders who are dealing with FOMO. Future sessions will deal on different topics, but if you want to participate in the future, click on the top of that the chat. You'll see the link to the survey. It's www.surveymonkey/r/NinjaTrader. Click that link, fill out the survey. It only takes a few minutes, and you might end up on here in a future session of Retail Therapy. For those that don't know me, right, I've written The Mental Game of Trading. I've worked with hundreds of retail traders just like you from around the world, worked with fund managers, worked with institutional traders. Bottom line is we're trying to get rid of the mental and emotional stuff that impairs your ability to execute and do what you know you need to do. So in today's session, I'm going to be talking with two traders specifically about FOMO. We'll see where it leads though, because sometimes FOMO can wrap itself around some other ancillary issues. And I will also be answering your questions. So at any point, throw your questions in the chat. I'll try to get to them after the first segment, and then we'll have a bit of time at the end of the session as well. So I say without further ado, let's get our first guest up here, Brian. Brian, how you doing? Good to see you again.
How's it going, Jared?
We're gonna kind of dive right in here and talking about FOMO as it affects your trading. But just to bring everybody up to speed in terms of your background a little bit, can you just give kind of a brief, quick kind of intro about your trading background and where you're at today?
Yeah, so I started day trading probably 2019. Started off with options. Got introduced to futures 2020-ish. Started trading my own money with the micros, ups and downs through COVID. And then somebody told me about props, so I started trading those, again, more futures, and did well there. So then went back to trading my own money, which is what I'm doing now.
Right. And so how does FOMO show up for you? I know you filled out the survey just like I encourage others to do. And that kind of popped out as one of the issues you're dealing with. So how does it show up for you? What do we kind of crack through here?
So mostly it's typically on trend days, which I struggle with. I'll see the move, and the FOMO always starts out as, I wish I was there in the beginning. Um, I tell myself, well, I didn't catch the initial move, so I'm just gonna sit back and not participate. But that trend continues, and then I feel like I need to get in because it's going to keep going. And then it's just a matter of not really following any rules at that point. It's everything gets thrown out, just because of that fear of missing out, of it going higher. Um,
So with issues like this, because I think for a lot of in a lot of my experience, FOMO tends to be a pretty imprecise term, right? If you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, you're not feeling well, and he comes back and says, "Oh, it turns out you're sick." I mean, you're kind of like, "Well, okay, thanks. Sorry, well, what are we gonna do about it, right?" It's not a very good diagnosis. FOMO can come from a lot of different reasons. So what I'd like to do is kind of like really peer into that discomfort, right? Whatever it is that you're feeling on those trend days when it starts to kind of ramp up. And could you describe, almost kind of diving a little bit deeper into like kind of what's going through your mind, maybe kind of what you're feeling inside, whether it be physical or emotional, as things are getting worse, because that's going to give us an indication of kind of your variety of FOMO. Then we can be a bit more surgical in correcting it.
yeah, so I think mainly on those types of days, I feel like if I'm not participating, um, like not only am I missing out, but I'm wasting my time. I'm here to, get some profits, make some money, do well. And if I don't participate, then I'm not doing that. And I think that's an issue for me, is not not being in the market, which I know Pax says it all the time. A lot of the other people on here, be patient, wait for all that stuff. And it makes sense until you're there, and then it's a little harder to follow.
Yeah, it makes sense until it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the doesn't is because emotions make us dumb, right? That itchiness, that impulsivity, that urge grows louder, and it has the power to just, kind of knock down the door of any attempts to be disciplined and, kind of hold the line and do what you're supposed to do. Those emotions creep up, and it does make you a little dumb. It does make you do things that you know better than, but kind of can't stop. So in order to really correct it, we got to, kind of tease out some of the underlying flaws that are present in your mind at that time that are basically altering your perspective, right? You're sort of seeing the market through almost like foggy glasses, right? You're not seeing things clearly. You're seeing it through those bias, right? You're seeing it through the lens of what you want. Um, so uh, you said a couple things. Number one, like it's kind of like wasting your time if you're not participating in a big trend. Could we go so far as to say that if you're not trading, you're not doing your job? But does it feel like that, or where would you kind of take this like wasting your time idea?
Yeah, I think that that's definitely one way one way that I look at it, because this isn't my full-time income. I'm not a full-time trader in that sense, but on days that I am trading, that is the goal. Um, so yeah, I mean, my purpose is to trade for profits. And so if I'm not doing that, then yeah, I feel like I'm lacking in a way. I feel like I'm not, sufficient. I'm not good enough at my goal of being a good trader.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, I'm sure you could come up with some ideas here. What do you hear in that statement, in that logic that's a bit off?
Ooh, that's tough. I feel like I'm in my therapy session here. Well, I guess this is retail therapy.
Yeah, we're dissecting.
Yeah. Yikes.
Let me make it a little bit easier for you because I
Yeah.
hear this a lot, right?
Okay.
As a trader, your job's to trade. Is it though? Because like, you've heard, right, that you're in a trade, or sorry, you're in a position whether you're in a trade or not, right? You have an opinion. And so if on those trend days you're expecting yourself to participate, I think it goes back to maybe a bit of the wish that you said at the outset, right? I wish I was there. You're kind of behind the eight ball out of the gate. And I would argue that the wishfulness is actually a big part of the problem. Now, the not doing your job, probably a bit secondary at that point, right? Because you can create some reason and rationale that says, look, my job is to make the right decisions. I'm a probabilistic entrepreneur, right? I'm kind of capitalizing on these inefficiencies in the market that I see and find edge and opportunity. Right? We're just sort of, I'm not just trying to change the word trading, but you can see the like the inferences or the implications when you say that you're a trader and you're not trading, A plus B equals you're not doing your job. If you start to change the definition of what it means to be a trader to be more accurate, which is as a trader, you're there is to show up prepared. You're always in a position. Your job is to enter trades with high probability, high conviction, sized appropriately, risk management appropriately. Like there's obviously nuances to your job, but it's not just about the actual execution of a trade. Because frankly, we could, turn an algo on and do that, and you could lose money, very, very slowly, right? Or you build one that's profitable, and then, you make your day a bit easier. But you get the point, though, that, the way you've kind of frame your responsibility really does impact how you're approaching it.
Yeah. So I think earlier I said, my job is to trade, but like you're saying, I think my job is to take the best trades or trade the highest probability trades, not trade everything.
Yeah, and so then we come back to okay, I wish I was in the trend. So the problem about wishes, right, is that it's a fantasy. So if we maybe look a little bit more practically here about like where that wish comes from, um, why do you think it's there? And there's a number of reasons it could be. So we'll kind of try to brainstorm here a little bit. Sometimes this can be hard. I mean, I think for anybody listening, right, when you're kind of dissecting aspects of your mentality like this, it can be challenging, right? Because I'm asking you questions you don't think about that often, but that's actually the point, right? Because if you're gonna kind of debug these kind of error codes in your mind that are clearly costly, you got to ask yourself some different questions. So, yeah, back to the wishfulness. Why do you think that it's there? What do you think it's really? What do you think you're really wishing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just it's that the ability to be successful, the kind of the drive to do well at this, and it's not just trading, but it's anything that I do. Kind of that's my goal. So I guess I'm wishing that I am successful, and but now that I'm saying wish, wish and hope are kind of I'm seeing both similarly, and that's another thing. When you're in a drawdown and you're hoping that it's gonna go back, or you're wishing that it goes back, or you wish you didn't even take that trade. So that hope just kind of popped into my head as a synonym for wish in this context.
Yeah, and I would argue that both are problematic because they're connected to the part of our minds that give up control. Right here, these results are kind of beyond your control, and so it starts to feel a little bit, yeah, out of control, right? You like, and here, right, the trend's kind of taken off. You're like, damn, like I missed, a really good entry, and so here's the market doing what it does, which is maybe reminding you that you don't have control over what the market's doing, and when that wishfulness creeps up, it can actually decrease your responsibility for doing what you know that you have control of. So here you are, kind of giving up control, and then being reminded that the market does what it does. It's a recipe for FOMO, recipe for, entering late and then, getting chopped around and maybe losing a bit.
Yeah, and that's I think that usually is what happens when I let that FOMO take over and I do enter it. It's never at a great spot. I will tell myself on a trend day I'll wait for a pullback, but then I think I start finding pullbacks that are levels just because I do want to get in, and they don't end up being the best levels.
It's amazing what we can convince ourselves of.
Yeah.
Right. And that's again an important caveat. And I've talked about this in previous retail therapy sessions, right? The ability to kind of collect some data around your patterning so you can recognize, all right, when I can recognize the difference between me looking for an entry versus where I'm just kind of there observing and then just one kind of is there. It just appears, right? Or it sets up and you kind of can be on it. But there's a difference between kind of you being up the market's butt and you being able to kind of be responsive to what's happening, right? Bias being imprinted to the market, you looking for opportunity. Those are two very different perspectives. And it's through that kind of writing where you're able to really differentiate between those two perspectives. So you can know quickly, like, oh, wow, right? I am not in a great state of mind. I need to take a step back, get myself reset so that I can get back to really kind of solid, consistent trading.
Yeah. And that's probably the biggest thing that I need to, learn to do and actually put into place is on days like that where I do struggle, instead of sitting there and waiting for something that I think would be great, maybe just taking a break, walking away from the desk and coming back the next day. But that FOMO creeps back in and it's like, oh, but I could have been right.
Yeah, so I think that comes back to that desire to be successful, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that, right? That's not the real cause of this problem, right? Your drive and desire to be successful. The cause is the means, right? And when you kind of shift into a wishful, hopeful means of achieving success, what is that actually going to turn into? It's going to turn into an unreliable strategy that's based off of a bit of gambling and a bit of luck. And if you want to be successful long term and you want to make sure that there's a kind of consistency in the your success, right? Then it's going to come because you're able to have more control over your own process, more control over your own trading. And so I think anytime that you sort of can recognize that shift into the wishfulness, right? You see that trend day, see that position moving without you, and you can feel it like, God damn, I wish I was there. Like, no, hold on a second. I need and want to be successful the right way. So that means not just jumping in for the sake of it, but actually holding the line. And maybe, right, in the short term, it means taking a little bit of a break, right? It can be hard to kind of maintain control for the first time when the emotions have already kind of gotten triggered a little bit and the position is moving. You kind of end up battling yourself. So look, you need to go take a 10-15 minute break, like go for a walk around the neighborhood, talk to yourself like a good coach would, and then come back, really convicted or have strong conviction around, all right, my job the rest of the day is not to make money. My job is to, be disciplined, trade my strategy. And if I do that, whether I've won money or lost money today, I have done my job and I've won. What do you think of that as a tactic?
I think that's probably the near perfect. Like that's something that I would, want to get to. And it's not just in this situation, but there's so many different parts of trading that I kind of want to be at. And it's just a matter of doing the work to get to those places and not letting things like this get in the way. But like I said earlier, like having that idea and that goal is great, but the hardest part is actually taking the steps to make those happen.
Yeah, and those steps is no different than getting in the gym and beginning to lift weights. Or if that's too big of a jump, it's taking 5 minutes out of the day and doing 10 push-ups and 10 sit-ups and just, a little bit of work here and there, right? The beginning of building muscle, begins with wherever you are. So it's not insurmountable. And the word just, right? If I can just do X, Y, or Z, if I can just kind of get started with this, there's a little bit of wishfulness in there too, right? I think you're kind of wanting to jump a little bit farther into the process rather than doing the incremental work, right? We kind of want, like, where you could be, and there's been times where you've been able to have that kind of poise, presence, resistance against FOMO, and it's like, well, why can't I do that all the time? It's, well, because you know we have variability in our performance. We have weaknesses. Sometimes those weaknesses just don't get turned on, right? Whether that's be of market conditions, whether that's stuff in your life, right? We're challenged in a variety of ways. The successful traders long term, the traders who've been successful long term are the ones that have been able to figure out how to maintain consistency in a variety of different situations, both personal, external, trading wise. So yeah, that's the challenge, right? And so building the strength is not rocket science. It is very simply the continual dedication to it daily. So number one, you're showing up each day now with a redefinition of what success means, right? Success means trading my strategy, being disciplined, being more tuned in and aware of my own, emotional state, my own sense of where I'm kind of getting off, especially with FOMO. If I do those two things well, I will make progress. Will you trade as well as you could today? Will FOMO not overwhelm you? We don't know, right? You're going to have some days where it does and where it doesn't. But, think of it like a nice 50-day trend line, right? Like if the trend is moving forward, where you're sucking less a little bit every day and making some progress, like those are the wins, and they stack up and really start to move you forward.
Yeah, and one thing you said there kind of clicked something else in my head. Those days that in similar situations where I have had good success, like those are kind of in the back of my mind. Like I know it's possible and it has happened. However, it may have been rare, but I'm still thinking about that one time where it did work. And so that's where I think it is possible, but it may not be the most common thing.
Yet. And I think sometimes when they hang in your mind, it starts to become a bit of an expectation, and it's just kind of harder to do the dirty work to make the number of those days starts to stack up. And look, you could start taking those stats. You could start actually tracking those stats, right? It's the did I do my job stat, and it could be binary, like a yes or no, or you could give yourself a grade like a 1, 2, or 3. But I think tracking some of the non-P&L statistics like this that are very tailored to you, avoidance of FOMO, the diligence with your preparation, how well are you, aware and tuned into your emotional state, right? If you're doing those three things well, right, doesn't guarantee you're going to trade perfectly, doesn't guarantee you're going to make money, but if you start tracking them, sometimes that helps to reinforce the value of it and the importance of it on a daily basis.
Yeah, and even to go along with that, like if I change my mindset from monetary wins being the only wins I'm going for, if instead recognizing FOMO on days and not acting on those, not getting in trouble, like those could actually be wins in and of themselves.
Absolutely, and that's the I did my job win. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
listen,
I hadn't thought about that before. Because usually with trading, it's just like, how was my P&L today? That's how I do the measurements. But smaller things like this, psychology and the other aspects of trading, those are also things to pay attention to.
beautiful. Well, getting you to think a little bit differently means that I did my job and I got a win there too. So proud of that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on today. I can see
Thanks,
from the
Jared.
chat, which is really great to see some folks enjoying our conversation here. And you putting yourself out here certainly helps other people. So do two things at once: help yourself and help others too. It's a beautiful thing. So thanks again.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot from the other sessions you've done with traders here. So I'm glad
Awesome.
if some people did get something from my experience. Thanks again, Jared.
Beautiful. You got it. All right, good stuff there from Brian here. Hopefully give you all a bit of insight in terms of things we're talking about with regards to FOMO. Like I said a bit earlier, FOMO can have a variety of different flavors. So we got perhaps the confidence version, right? A little bit of wishful hopefulness version of it. Let's see. We got a few minutes to take some questions here before we bring our second guest up. Let's see what we got here. Trader Mike Z. FOMO sometimes makes me flip my bias then I lose track of my plan and get crushed. So you can see now that for me to really be able to, kind of crack through that, we need a little bit more detail. What I'd say is that if FOMO is making you flip your bias, that tells me that there's maybe a bit of weakness, right, in that bias. You lose a little bit of sense of your own confidence and conviction in your pre-market prep and the strategy that you're kind of bringing in. And so, ask yourself some questions, right? Is it about kind of that pre-market conviction? Is it related to, kind of your progression as a trader? Sometimes I hear this question from traders that are relatively new who might be, listening to some of the great traders here on NinjaTrader Live or elsewhere. And I'm not saying that they're copy pasting or kind of trailing others' ideas, but they can sometimes, get a little bit too sucked into the opinions of others, right? And look, each of you want to be able to develop your own fingerprint. Right? As traders, you have your own unique experience and perspective that you're bringing into the market. You need to use that. When you're relying too heavily on the opinions of others, it erodes confidence and conviction in yourself. And so that may be a version of what's happening here. It's just a little bit of that erosion of kind of trust and conviction. So, all right, let's get to some other questions here. Next one's from Sandy. Kind of reminds me like being like a fireman. Doesn't mean you're not successful if you're not putting out fires all the time. It's having the preparation and the readiness to show up with a process and protocol. That's a great comparison there, right? What does it mean to be a trader? What does it mean to be a fireman, right? We expand the definition of what those roles and responsibilities are, right? It's not just about the actual trading or the putting out of fires. It's a much more complicated and involved endeavor. All right, let's see a couple other questions here. Let's see. All right, JT, a lot of the problems stem from the bar of entry to be a trader is too low. You have to know what works for you, and it doesn't exist if you don't trade. Yeah, I think you're 100% right. The barriers to entry are incredibly low now, and I think a lot of people who enter trading um, don't kind of have the proper time horizon for what it's going to take to actually truly become skilled. And I would say that one of the key ways that you can know that you're truly skilled is the automatic way with which you're able to make some decisions, right? When you achieve mastery of the basic elements of your profitable strategy, such that I can wake you up at 3:30 in the morning, tell you, you can tell me very, very quickly how you make money. Now, it's not going to be a very detailed description, but it's enough to prove that your mind is very deeply connected to that strategy. When you don't have that, it's very easy for the market to start to prey upon that weakness, right? When you do have it, it's very easy for your mind to be opened and you to be far more receptive, right? Whenever we're kind of defending against weaknesses in strategy, our emotions can run wild in a lot of different directions, and FOMO can certainly be an indicator of that. And sometimes that happens just from the pure evolution of your trading, right? One of the traders I highlighted in the mental game of trading recognized that he was experiencing FOMO just because, in actuality, kind of needed to be zooming in once an area of interest was hit. So, he's typically trading on a 5-minute chart and found himself kind of missing out on some of the edge, being able to scale down or zoom into a 1-minute chart, solve that problem. So it actually wasn't a mental game issue, right? FOMO was a signal for a weakness in strategy. So if you are in the development stages as a trader, or if you are a seasoned trader, just remember, right? You always want to be making sure that elements of your strategy are getting automated in your own mind, right? I'm not saying that that means that all of your decisions are automated, but when you have mastery, it frees up your mind to be able to be absorbing more information, evolving as a trader, being able to pivot and adjust and adapt, not to mention be able to have plenty of room, plenty of mental capital to be able to be self-aware and recognizing deviations in your own mentality that you're kind of bringing in here. So good stuff there. Maybe time for one more question, then we'll get to our next guest. Just kidding. Why am I in your house at 3:30 in the morning? Well, we'll just say it's a metaphoric, waking you up. And if I am there, then then I want to know why I'm there because I'm assuming the ambient didn't quite work and knocking me out properly. All right. Kelson, trade my strategy, and if I do that, whether I've won money or lost money today, I've done my job and I've won. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. That's exactly what we're talking about with Brian here. The ability to see what winning in trading looks like, I think is an important skill. All right, Jenna, why can I not accept a loss? Variety of reasons. I want you to ask yourself the question right there. You asked me. Okay, why can you not accept a loss? I'm guessing, like a lot of people, you actually haven't taken the time to answer that question. You just assume, right, that you should, and in a forcibly way, do that. But if you were, if somebody were to knock on the door and hand you a package, right? If it was a stranger, I mean, you're not going to accept this package, right? So why would you accept something in your own mind that you don't totally trust? So I would argue that a part of you is not willing to accept a loss because you haven't owned the reasons for that in trading. Trading is different than a lot of other enterprises, right? I mean, you're a professional athlete, you're competitive, right? You're not going to accept losing. You're going to do everything you can in your power to change those outcomes. In trading, losses are basically business expenses. It's a part of doing business. If you're not taking losses, you're not able to actually be able to be profitable. So sometimes it's kind of the recalibration of what losing in trading means and to train that deep enough that you can kind of truly accept it and trust it. The other parts might be that you're a perfectionist. You hate losing, right? There's a deeper part of you that just rejects the idea. And sometimes that hatred of losing is a part of lacking confidence. And I don't mean that in a big global way. It's an example like I was talking about with Brian earlier, right? This kind of small weakness in the way that we're approaching things can create that perspective. So, all right, I see some other questions here I'll get to shortly, but let's bring on Michelle, our next guest, and see what kind of version of FOMO she is dealing with. So, Michelle, welcome. Happy to have you here.
Hi, it's good to be here also.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you would just kind of briefly describe a bit about your trading, bit your background and kind of where you are today.
Yeah, so I first started trading. I was actually getting my master's in data science, and I was working in the mental health field, and I got a really bad injury. And that's when I started learning about insurance and retirement and all these things. And it kind of led me to a rabbit hole with trading. And I thought it was great to like be in control of your own finances, invest like retirement companies and other people do without getting that percentage. So I started learning about it and I just became really passionate and I started kind of doing it independently with prop firms and things like that. So yeah, I'm still on the learning journey, but I feel like I've come a long way also.
Amazing, amazing. Well, coming from the mental health field, then, our conversation is kind of right up your alley.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. So, can you describe a bit about how FOMO shows up for you?
Yeah, so I've been journaling, so it helps a lot to be able to look back because I do an Excel file of different things and there's ones that say like FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. So like
So it's a problem.
yeah, I went back through my journal and I actually like was able to read and take notes. And for me, the biggest thing that FOMO leads to is over leveraging and also not waiting for proper confirmations, like maybe entering early before proper confirmations or chasing price. Because there's been times where I enter and then I end up over leveraging because I'm like, oh, I know it's going to go to this level. And then like, price will do its shakeout and I'm like, okay, I have risked too much, let me exit. And then right when I exit, it like rips or dumps and I'm like, I knew it. And I try to like jump back in and then it's not good risk to reward. So that's how it impacts. I feel like I've gotten better with it, but definitely I feel like you said, it comes in ebbs and flows. So right now I'm dealing with the over leveraging, like, enter one lot and scale in. That's something I'm trying to work on because as you get more familiar with price action, you feel like, oh, I can predict stuff, but I still want to stick to good risk to reward. And also, like waiting for better entries, because sometimes I'll say, oh, like I know price is most likely long for today, so I'm just going to enter here. But it's like waiting for that confirmation and, not trying to predict the future. So I think those are the biggest ways it impacts my trading.
Got it. Yeah. So you've said a number of times as sort of the prediction. So, which is maybe a small thought experiment here. If you knew, like there was a cell in your body that knew what was going to happen in the future, you just had this sort of probabilistic system that was kind of betting in a profitable way about what was going to happen in the future. Um, do you think FOMO would be an issue, right? If not for that kind of part of your mind that jumps into this sort of certainty about what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's like the anticipation.
It's the anticipation. So if that wasn't there, then you wouldn't be jumping in early. You wouldn't be over leveraging. You wouldn't kind of be chasing price. You'd have more stability because you were able to kind of observe what was happening and respond to it, not anticipating or jumping the gun.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. So now we've kind of ironed down your flavor of FOMO here. It's what I would describe as the shitty psychic.
Yeah.
Right? You're not paid to know what's going to happen in the future, and yet for some reason, and look, it's very, very common. For some reason, your mind has gotten convinced that you have powers that you don't have. So, I'm going to ask this as a question. You don't have to go too deep if you don't want to, but does this pattern exist elsewhere in your life?
I think so. Like I like caffeine a lot. I'm very like physically active. I feel like I can be a little impatient sometimes. So I
Aha.
definitely feel that. Um,
Do you finish
it,
people's sentences?
yes. I'm very like, my brain goes very fast paced.
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes. Okay. And I asked that just for everybody else that's watching too. Like sometimes when we're dealing with patterns like this, and your version feels quite clear, maybe a bit clearer than Brian's, and not to say that either is better or other. It's just it is what it is. When there is a very kind of specific version, my first thought is like, does this problem exist elsewhere? Because if it does, then we have an opportunity, right? Number one, we know it's not a trading problem, right? It's something that you maybe experienced elsewhere, but probably not punished elsewhere, right? It's like not really that big of a problem, clearly, and yet in trading it's become one. And so the opportunity is that you can start to work on it in two places. And maybe the motivation to work on it elsewhere is not that great, but it becomes greater because you know that if you get better at it elsewhere, you're getting in reps, you're getting practice to then bring it back to trading. And it doesn't guarantee, like you have, weeks where you're perfect elsewhere. Doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect in trading, but it does make it slightly more likely. And if we're going to try to increase probability in success, well, we're going to take as many opportunities as we can. So going back to the impatience. So the impatience and the shitty psychic are kind of combined. Do you think it's really about you predicting the future, or is it just maybe what you said earlier about how your mind is kind of just like naturally very active and kind of jumps and anticipates and maybe gets excited by the times when you anticipate something and are correct, and you're driven to understand and want to know, and your curiosity kind of just drives you in here, just maybe goes a little bit, it's just a little bit too excessive. Does that, I don't want, I'm trying to brainstorm here, but does that sound like what you're going through?
yeah, I think some of it can stem from time constraints also because like I still work full time and I wake up on Pacific Standard Time at like 5 in the morning. I have two dogs. I have to like make breakfast, walk them. So I kind of like go through the charts and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like, like not having that fully relaxed processing time. Like that sometimes you need to be in the zone with trading. And also I think part of it can stem from that dopamine hit because when I first started trading, it was very like gamified. But now I feel like, okay, like I'm over that. I've got the hang of it. I want it to be more, like you said, structured, disciplined, and more based on like good risk to reward, not like the dopamine hits. Cause like that's why I started doing like I have my trading view account that was like demo, and I'm like, that's kind of my way to get it out of my system when I'm feeling those like oh excited and stuff. I'm like, because I know I get this kind of like feeling, and Like literally my demo trading view account is like 5 billion jillion because I'll literally like let me do a million lots and like just let it like run like ridiculous, to kind of get it out of my system. So I definitely feel it's a bit of that dopamine hit mixed with like the impatience of like my busy schedule. And so, and like you said, a little bit of my personality that can be a little bit impatient as well.
Right.
And
And
parts can be very like tedious sometimes, and it's
do you like being busy?
I do. I I feel like I'm more of a creative person. Like I like art, music, therapy, and things like that. I like being busy, but not maybe in like a traditional sense, like let me go to school or like the mundane kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
not like kind of a structured busy, but you like having ideas and options and yeah, I think where my mind kind of just went there was you know, the preparation is probably really, really key for you. And I like kind of what you were saying of, that you've got this sort of time in the morning to get your dogs walked and get yourself ready, but it's early and you might be rushing a little bit more in that to kind of get to trading. And so then what's happening is there's a bit of almost impatience to get to trading. And then what happens, right? You bring that impatience with you.
Yeah.
So, maybe one of the practices needs to, kind of pivot towards uh, baking in the patience and the kind of mentality that you want to bring to trading becomes part of what that preparation looks like. And whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, right? From the time you wake up to the time you start trading, having that mentality baked into the process, right? Maybe you walk just a little bit slower with the dogs, take a little bit more time and let your mind just kind of be more present, be more kind of tuned into what's happening right in front of you and not as much of like, okay, what's next? And then, just kind of moving in that direction. What do you think of that as a
I think
piece
that's
of this?
great because there was like going back in my journal, the times when I did my best was like I would wake up, maybe put on some R&B like TLC or something, walk the dogs, and I would like sing and do breathing because it's like 5 in the morning in LA, like not a lot of people are up and kind of like get myself in that relaxed mindset. But I think I over time, like I did get a little lazy because sometimes they're set up, sometimes they're not. So you like check the chart and then there's no setup and you're like, oh, I woke up super early for nothing. But I do think that process did help, like walking my dogs before market open, like having that time to kind of unwind and then checking the charts and then like being relaxed. Like I don't drink coffee before because it'll be too like hyperactive.
Hmm.
But I think I want to start implementing that again. I was kind of debating it, but like now sometimes I'll just like look at my chart like at 6:30 and I'm like, oh, I don't see a setup, but it's not like the same thorough process of when I was like getting up, walking the dogs, doing my vocal warm-ups, like like being more prepared. So I definitely think that would help because sometimes it's like it could be a double-edged sword because it's like you're all prepared, participating, and then there's no setup, and it's like you just want to trade. But I need to like have my reminders to myself, like, I make more money. It's like the process, like kind of what you were talking about before. Like I stuck to my process, my risk management, like still counting it as a win, not there was no setup and being like negative about it, I guess. And
I mean, if
yeah,
you're an athlete on the bench and you didn't get to play, you still did your job, right? You were there ready,
yeah,
right? Coach needed you in the game, like you're in. So, again, going back to kind of what we talked about with Brian, right? Your job isn't to take the trades. Your job is to be there ready, sharp, in the right mentality, to trade your best. And, you know, preparation is often a big part of that. Sounds like we've got, at least a kind of a piece of this. The that drive towards over leveraging, the dopamine hits, like kind of the bigger kind of pieces of this. I don't know that that's going to get solved just from kind of coming into the session a bit more kind of calm, peaceful, present. I wonder if you could just describe a little bit more about kind of that side. Like, what do you think it is about kind of those big wins, or trading that's maybe driving you? And it could speak to your goals and aspirations in this enterprise, but I think that piece of it, I think we got to touch on before we wrap up here.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think when we were talking during the prep session, I kind of mentioned before, like when I first started trading, I was very disciplined. I'd be like, okay, I'm risking 1,000, making this amount. Like sometimes it would go 1 to 10, 1 to 3. Back then, this is when I was trading gold during like 2022. So there was like big moves on the table. And I think one time when I during UJ, I put the wrong lot size. And that's when it kind of started because like I was like, if I would have been on the right side of the market, instead of risking 1,000, I accidentally risked like 30,000. And then price just shot. And that's when it all kind of started, like the variable risk, the dopamine. And so it kind of like turned from, okay, my discipline process to like, ooh, how much money can I get out of the market type of thing. So it was kind of like I had like once I started using more variable risk, I had to kind of like untrain myself to trade like that because that's when things went downhill. Because then it went from like a 1,000 loss to like 57K loss. And this was on prop, like it wasn't my real money, and I think that kind of encouraged it also, like the more
Yeah.
gambling aspect of it. But I try like I do the injecting logic, like let me be respectful of the prop. Like if this was my real money, would somebody hire me to be trading this way? Like, I try to like remind myself, keep myself grounded. And sometimes if I see a really clean setup, it's at the level I missed the scale in, I will do like up to 3 to 5 lots, but then I'll try to keep it short. Like first take profit, I'm out. And I've been a lot more disciplined with that. But I definitely could be more disciplined with like the waking up on time, controlling myself when there is no setups, and kind of like the positive reframes. Like I'm not here to like have a dopamine like casino day. I'm here to like do my job type of thing, like more calm and um but
Yeah,
yeah,
and to really kind of embrace that, right? To feel value in that. I think the dopamine, kind of big wins sometimes might be just a bigger version of the impatience, kind of wanting to race to larger and larger profits. But the problem is, right, you kind of climb higher without a base beneath you, and the fall is going to hurt, right? So we want process to kind of go along with, increases in your P&L, increases in, your profitability, right? That kind of bottom end process is like how consistent and strong are you in following your rules, following your risk management. Uh, so, yes, right. The prop firms can certainly kind of encourage a bit of that, kind of big win mentality. But I think it only encourages it for somebody who is, kind of wanting things to go a little bit faster, right? Kind of touches on that party that's a bit impatient. So we've got kind of the micro version of it, in terms of your daily prep. But I think you want to, in your mind, be envisioning let's just say the next 3 months, okay? I'm being somewhat arbitrary, but making it kind of long enough that feels like we can get the work done, but not too long that it feels insurmountable. Where the next 3 months, it's for you, the long-term success is going to come through your ability to be consistent. Having solid stability and structure is what's going to be the catalyst, right, for maybe the next breakthrough. It's not because you make a ton of money in the next month without that foundation, it's probably going to erode beneath your feet, and that can sometimes be more painful. So we want to have the leading indicator of success long term be the strength and consistency in your process, your execution, and ultimately your ability to kind of manage those FOMO moments.
yeah, I agree. So I feel like that was one of my things I wanted to do also. Like, can I be consistent with waking up, being at the desk on open, not letting the crazy like spikes during open, like is this fitting my plan? And even today, I think it has been helping just thinking in this way because the past few days there's been CPI, other crazy news, and I'm like, okay, my bias is this, but I'm like, I don't see my setup. I'm not going to trade even if it makes a gigantic move. And in both cases, it prevented losses. So those would have been like those losses, just like before I would be like, oh, it's CPI, like I gotta like find an entry, and it's like a different mindset of like, okay, let me not blow my account instead of like let me pass, because like you said, it's a double-edged sword sometimes. So it's like you want to make money, but you also want to cover your downside too. And I would literally call one move like the account blower move, because I'm like, what is it, the shitty sidekick? Like, I know it's gonna dump, I know it's gonna dump. And yeah, it did dump, but it did like 10 spike wicks that like blew my account because I wasn't patient enough to wait for like the break and retest. So that's something like I'm working on. Like, is this a good entry? Is this a good retrace? Like, not just chasing the waterfall type of thing. So
Brilliant. Yeah, so you're already moving in the right direction. Now I would just kind of zoom out and make it a very tangible goal, right? The next 3 months, this is the priority because you can't do it in a month, right? You can build a lot more consistency in exactly what you're doing, but we're working towards mastery, right? Just as I was saying earlier about the mastery of a strategy that becomes so automatic that you can now have your mind focus on other things. We want that to be the case with regards to the things we're talking about today. And that just can't happen in a month. So 3 months is about the time frame that if you're really diligent with it, you can kind of get to that point. Doesn't mean it's game over and you can just kind of, but it does mean that you're likely kind of running downhill at that point and can move on to something else. So appreciate you coming on today, Michelle, and sharing your experience. And yeah, hopefully this has been helpful for you and those that have been watching.
yes, definitely. Thank you so much. I
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
All right, cheers. All right, well, great stuff from both Michelle and Brian here. Really appreciate them both coming on. Those of you who want to see yourself in this exact same seat as there, fill out that questionnaire, fill out that survey at the top of the chat, www.surveymonkey/r/NinjaTrader, and be a future guest on retail therapy. I've seen a number of responses already pouring in here, so I'll be happy to look through those and see who's going to be the next guest to come on. But I know we've got a bit of time left here. Let's get through some questions. Any other questions that you have, whether it's related to FOMO or elsewhere, please throw them in the chat. I want to get to those and make use out of your time today. All right, so we got questions here. Anthea, rigid in rules and flexible in expectations. I like that. When trades are missed due to my rigid rules, it causes FOMO. Example, a trade doesn't trigger, but goes on to hit PT. It's very frustrating. No doubt. Like, there's just going to be a lot of those kind of false flags, right, within the market, right? And you certainly could take those trades, but they're outside your system, right? Your system is designed to define your version of profitability, right? There's a lot of ways to make money in trading. You've got your fingerprint, you've got your perspective. You need to be leveraging that, right? And the more that you are, the more consistent you're going to be. Now, if that trigger causes frustration, I agree with you. There's expectation. The expectation being every time something could have been in your purview, well, then you should be making money and capitalizing. And, that expectation is obviously false because that's just not how trading works and it never will, right? Because again, there's plenty of ways to be making money. All right. Willie, degen trading in sim accounts imprints bad psychological patterns in your brain. Getting it out is bad habit forming. Possibly. So, Michelle described, kind of getting out of her system. I've seen plenty of examples for that in traders. I would argue that it's a bit of a band-aid in the short term, right? It's not the long-term strategy. You want to be able to, kind of truly resolve and correct the underlying causality of that need for the dopamine or need for that big hit. And I think, we've kind of put Michelle on a path towards that. But I've seen other traders who, they'll go have like a really heavy workout right before the trading day because they know that that's going to, get a lot of that extra energy out of their system. And some people just are highly impulsive, highly energetic. Their mind moves incredibly fast. And so, if that's you and your style of trading tends to be a bit more slower pace, right? You are a swing trader, right? I mean, you're going to be kind of high energy going in, like maybe not doing a whole lot today. Well, having that big heavy workout for this trader helped them to really show up to the market a bit limping, right? In not literal terms, but just kind of empty a bit, and that helped them to be more poised and patient. So you got to kind of differentiate between the band-aids from the tactics that are good preparation, kind of given your personality, given your makeup, and ultimately what's going to help you to be successful. So, yeah, I agreed, right? There's a lot of, especially in today's day and age, a lot of bad patterning with regards to dopamine, right? We look at phones and internet and, kind of constant sources of information from every way, shape, and form. And if you're constantly seeking those things, right, constantly seeking stimulation, well, then, the markets become just another version of that. Ultimately, we want things to be tools, right? Whether it be, social media, phones, etc., right? As Tristan Harris, who's a kind of a big advocate on social media hygiene and using it properly, describes, like, these are tools, right? You don't have a shovel in your garage, calling to you saying, "Hey, come use me," right? When you have a need to use a shovel, you go use the shovel, right? And social media, phones, etc., right? They should be viewed as tools that you are in control of, that you're directing. And if you're getting too wrapped up in a dopamine cycle where you're kind of using it to kind of wake up your brain or to, distract you from other things that are going on in trading or elsewhere, then the odds are that trading is going to become one other thing that you're going to be using and seeking dopamine out for. So my point is, just be aware of hygiene with regards to how you're using your phone, how you're using social media, how you're using other forms of technology to just make sure that you're not training bad habits there that are ultimately going to bleed in to your time in trading and make it a lot harder for you to kind of have the poise and the patience and the discipline that is required for this enterprise. All right. Jake's asking, how do prop firms increase FOMO? Well, sometimes they set arbitrary rules that are more advantageous for them than they are for you. And, they kind of force you to take trades at times where you wouldn't. And so, look, prop firms have their utility. Okay. And I think the more you kind of understand their usefulness for you, the easier it is to make the best use out of them. And I would argue that when they have these arbitrary rules that are more advantageous for them than they are for you, and I shouldn't say arbitrary, they're not kind of the pure trading. They're not necessarily lined up for how you would be trading day in and day out. They still force you to be disciplined. They sort of force you to follow rules. And so whether or not they're exactly optimal for you doesn't decrease the value that you can get from being more rule based, more consistent in your execution, more robust in how you're approaching trading. So use it for what it is. But yeah, prop firms certainly can increase that spark of FOMO. All right. Other questions before we wrap up here. Phil's saying this session was just as good as the last one. Love to hear that. My aim is to deliver high quality content for you all, and I know sometimes the mental and emotional stuff can be challenging, right? It's kind of in your head. It's hard to see the forest for the trees. It's hard to kind of wade through your own mind to figure out what the heck is going on, so you can, kind of debug the system, surgically make some corrections, and be able to prevent problems like FOMO from bleeding into your trading, because they can certainly very easily do that if you're not well prepared. So yeah, glad that delivering on high value here. A couple of the things on FOMO. I don't see any other questions right now. A couple of the things on FOMO. FOMO, as I said at the outset, is a really imprecise term because, as you've seen today, we've got two very distinct versions of it. But it can also come from a hatred of losing, right? If you're not making money, you're seeing other people making money, that can feel like you're losing, you're missing out, right? It's not the missing out as if you actually fear it. It's like, no, you just genuinely hate it, right? It's not a fear of missing out. You hate missing out. So sometimes it's anger or the fear of anger, right? That causes FOMO. Sometimes it's overconfidence, right? We talked about the shitty psychic with Michelle. Well, that overconfidence can have that excessive conviction about what's going to happen and can drive you in here. Sometimes it's a lack of confidence, right? You see other people making money, you're not. Well, maybe it makes you a little butthurt and kind of concerned that maybe you're not good enough. And certainly, depending on where you are in your strategy, if you're in a drawdown, it certainly can make it worse. And so again, FOMO is like kind of this big umbrella term. Rarely are people genuinely fearful that they're going to miss out, and they have this perspective that this is like the last opportunity you're going to have. It does happen that way, but it's much more that it's kind of this umbrella term, and you've got to put your own fingerprint on what specific way FOMO is showing up for you. And the best way to do that is to take very diligent notes about what's going through your mind when you are experiencing FOMO. If you do that, you can start to analyze your thoughts with greater clarity. And if you have greater clarity in what's kind of going through your mind, well, then you're able to correct it and be able to kind of battle it. Sometimes our mind is too intangible, right? We're not really sure exactly what we're battling. You make it a bit more objective. It becomes a little bit easier to make some distinct corrections. All right, John's asking, how can we detach from feeling smart when I win and really stupid when I lose a trade? Easy. Neither one was entirely in your control. Single trades contain a lot of luck, right? There's variance as a large factor. You zoom out, right? And, depending on your trading style, it could be 50, 100, 200 trades. You zoom out far enough, and then that aggregate, right? That accumulation of all those trades, that starts to more closely align with not necessarily how smart or dumb you are, but how profitable or unprofitable your strategy is. Individual trades, a lot of luck. So you make $1 million from one trade, you lose $1 million from one trade. It doesn't necessarily tell us much about your actual trading skill. I've seen it happen on both sides of the coin, regardless of the size. So the fact that you are attaching your intelligence to winning and losing individual trades perhaps means that you're looking for the market to confirm that you're smart. And that confirmation bias is a subtle thing, but one that I would look a little bit more closely at and find ways to be a bit more, let's say, independent in your definition of your intelligence, right? Independent in how you see your capability as a trader, not looking to the market to confirm that, certainly not on individual trades. All righty. I think that ends us for today, right at 5 o'clock here. Really thank Brian and Michelle for coming on today. Really great sessions. Thank all of you for your questions. Thank all the chat for participating. It's been a lot of fun seeing what's coming through here. I wish you all well here. Start off the year strong, right? You got great opportunities to kind of set the trend right. As I said at the outset, I hate resolutions because resolutions don't prepare you to battle up against your own weak points. So, right, setting the trend right in my mind means that you're aware of the things that you're trying to correct for yourself, and you're setting yourself up to be aware of them and regularly take steps to improve them. If you set a resolution or you set a goal from that lens, you're going to be far more successful this year than otherwise. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Wish you all well, and I'll see you next time. Take care.